Now, it may have been a long break between seasons, but folks, we are finally back here at NA Star League, kicking the week off like we always do. Powder and Sebulance returning to bring this season of Rocket League live to all of you. Powder, how was your break, man? How you feeling? How excited are you to be back?
I mean, dude, it's been a great winter break. It's been fun. Everybody gets a break. The players get a break. We get a break. But it is time to get back into it. The spring 2023 season is upon us, and I'm ready to see if one of these teams is going to be able to take down Northwood, because we'll be honest, they stomped Keanu in the grand finals to take the fall championship, excuse me. I'm just excited to see if somebody's going to be able to topple them this spring.
Yeah, it's a break from the actual competitive play, but these teams are certainly taking no breaks. And speaking of teams, maybe we take a look at who's coming up next. It's Colorado College versus Rochester, or Mizzou, excuse me, not Rochester. The logo always gets me. It's Mizzou coming in, and it's a game, Powder. We're not super sure how this one's going to go. Haven't seen Colorado. They're 1-0 on the week. After that, Cincinnati and Kansas State, Lubbock versus West Virginia, and Lackawanna versus James Madison to close off tonight. So we've seen a lot of these teams in the previous split, Powder, and they're going to have to prove their weight worth in gold here to show that break was not one kind of celebrated in vain. They took the time, they put in the work, they found the practice, and they're ready to show their profession, show their improvement here this week. It's week number 2, the first week on stream this season, and there's no better way to send a message than to open out the gate swinging.
Absolutely. Like you said, we've seen probably, I think, half of these teams tonight on stream before, so I'm excited to see what the rest of them have to offer. We know Mizzou's a tough opponent. We know West Virginia is one of the best in NACE, so there's going to be some exciting teams coming out here tonight.
Without a doubt. We know this first game is an 0-1 Colorado College versus 1-0 Mizzou. So we kind of have an expectation here. Mizzou is a very talented team. They made it into playoffs last split, and they can bring a lot to the table. So University of Missouri, Columbia, starting strong. We presume, but maybe Colorado can't come out the gate here. I don't know who their first week opponent was. Maybe it was Northwood, and we know what happens to people up against Northwood. So maybe Colorado just didn't get the chance to prove themselves, and maybe against Mizzou, they can take it all the way. These are best of 5s here in the traditional NA Star League season. So you've got 3 opportunities to strike, Powder, and if you let them slip by, well, your night can come to a close pretty quickly.
Right, and it's going to be a tough start for Colorado College. Obviously, starting off 0-1, they got 3-1 by OC Esports, and now they have to face Mizzou, who surprisingly they didn't make CRL this semester, but they're still the same roster coming in this season, coming out with Grims, Extels, and Warped, while Moses and Slide to Lime, which I think we got to see them last semester as well. It's going to be a tough start for them. Like we said, 0-1, now they got to go against Mizzou. But you know what? Maybe they have something to show as they start off their spring season on stream.
Yeah, maybe something can be up the sleeves here. And there's definitely that pressure of, okay, we're on stream. Everyone can see us right now. There's absolutely an expectation of performance from these schools. And Mizzou, a little more comfortable with being on stream, I think. Like you mentioned, they kind of play with the big dogs of collegiate in Rocket League. And I don't think that's going to change. Warped isn't a name that I personally recognize. We all know Crims, we all know Excels, but maybe Warped is a newer player to the squadron. Maybe that's going to change the pace of play a little bit. And I agree, we did see Colorado at least once, because those names aren't new ones in the Sepulance mind catalog of names I've seen before. I've definitely seen those names, and maybe they can come out swinging here. Week 1, not the best, but hey, it's one and done. We're still at the beginning of the season, ready to try and make it a 1-1 scoreline for them.
Certainly, and this would be the match to do so. Like you said, it might be a slightly different roster for Mizzou coming in with only 2 of the 3 from last semester. Could be the time for Colorado just not start off their season, but at least get into week 2 with a win, which in the West, that's pretty important. There's not a lot of teams in that Western Conference, so a win right away would be important if they want to try to get a chance towards the later stages of the season, getting into conference championships and playoffs. This could be huge for them this week. We head into week 2. You don't want to waste any of your matches this season.
You certainly do not. Everything can make the difference. We saw several teams last season separated by a single loss that breaks them from playoffs, right? We saw a lot of teams tied up. It comes down to point differential, so on and so forth. Things can really collapse. Each and every win puts you one step closer to, unfortunately, not making it to the very end of this NA Star League season, and neither of those teams want that to happen here, Powder. I know the game is going to be kicking off in just a few minutes, and just as a reminder for those, kind of the rule format, it is a best of 5, so if you lose or win the first game, not even close to done. You got to win or lose at least 2 more. First team to 3 wins here tonight will be the team to emerge victorious, and our first team to emerge victorious on stream this season, so that's a fun little kind of badge of honor you get to wear as well.
Right, and I'm excited to see who it's gonna be. Of course, I have my prediction. I'm still gonna I still gotta stick on the side of Mizzou on this one. Just the experience that they have, no matter if there's a roster change or not. Mizzou's just too consistent of a roster to drop series like this, especially early on in the season. So as we get going, it will be Mizzou trying to break out of the defensive end. Aren't able to do so yet as Colorado keeping it on. Moses to the midfield, an awkward miss, and Crims with a clear out, a little bit awkward early from Mizzou.
Yeah, Mizzou feeling the heat, feeling the pressure. The adaptation's not quite where they want to be, but the team hasn't lost anything yet, and that's certainly what matters. Warped gets the ball control away from Colorado College and wants to find a setup for Mizzou. An open goal. All three offensive players are there, and Mizzou walks one in early. 29 seconds off the clock. That's a 1-0 on the board.
It's an early and costly mistake for Colorado, and it really just is the miss there in the corner. I was trying to see if maybe anybody was too aggressive from Colorado, and not really. It's just the miss, unfortunately, and that's something that can happen when the nerves come in. You know, first match of the season on stream, it's bound to happen, but now it's up to Colorado to fight back from that and try to get this game tied back up.
That's what it's all about, is getting this game tied up as fast as you can, because I always talk about, when you get to a certain point, you're racing the clock just as much as you're racing your opponents, and luckily enough for Colorado College, they haven't broken any sweats quite yet. They know they've got 4 minutes, 80% of the game still left to be played, and perhaps just getting through to Mizzou, finding a demolition and creating their own space could be the key to success. Yuh loses boost in a critical moment. Double tap prevented by Moses. Slime to Lime able to get rid of Warp's attempt as well, keeping Mizzou only at the 1-point lead. A close one, but not as close as Mizzou would like it. That's definitely not something I feel like they would have missed last season. Perhaps they're trying to shake off a little bit of rust right now.
Definitely, and a couple awkward misses from Colorado early on. They're able to still get it down the field, but they really need to be careful. Mizzou is not a team you can make many mistakes on. Even just in general high of a level of gameplay, you cannot make mistakes, and we see another miss come out. Yo will be able to get there in time and win out the challenge, actually giving Slime to Lime an opportunity. He's beaten out by Extels, back in towards Slime to Lime, but still dumped in from Mizzou. They continue the offensive pressure, and Colorado, they gotta be careful here. They're going to break out, but they need to hold the possession.
You need to hold possession for as long as you can if you are on the side of Colorado. You want to keep this scoreline as low as it can be if you're not able to tie it up, because maybe you can just, sneak one in, tie things up 1-1 and make a miracle come true. But yeah, just can't find that lineup early. Loses boost at a really pivotal moment again, Powder. We've seen that twice now where as a player has been in a prime time spot to change the history of the matchup, and then all of a sudden tank's empty and you're moving at 2 miles an hour. It's a tough spot to be in, but I don't even think it's a boost drought from Mizzou. It might just be a lack of boost from Colorado. Here's at 0 again. It feels like they aren't able to have that online, and boost absolutely makes or breaks a player.
It's crucial at this high of a level to maintain the boost, and with a team like Mizzou, they're going to be going out of their way to steal it away. You've got to maintain the pressure, you've got to maintain the pathing to continue the boost. They're doing a good job of getting the stops. In fact, a miss comes out from Mizzou. However, they make it not count anyway, back towards the other side. Crims, though, taking over. Some more aggression now, opening up space for Mizzou. He's got his reset, can't use it for much. Moses off to the side, and right now Colorado is really just holding strong. They can't do much to break out, but at the very least, they're keeping it a low-scoring affair.
Yeah, it's a shame that first one broke through, or Colorado could really put a nail-biter on the table. Mizzou has a lead. They really haven't even been close to losing it, as poor Colorado's been stuck on a hard defense probably 80% of this matchup so far. We see less than 2 minutes left on the clock. We're deep into the second half, and this low-scoring affair, I'll be honest, it's surprising from Mizzou, but I think we've definitely nailed the discussion that it might just be rust. It might be because Warped is coming in. Not that they're a bad player, but a new one. And I think communication and team dynamic is what makes great teams great.
Not only that, but I think this low-scoring affair, at least on the side of Colorado, is what they need. Even if they're both...
Absolutely.
Even if both teams are scoring many goals, this is definitely going to favor more Colorado to keep it low, keep Mizzou frustrated, and be able to sneak away with a goal here and there. If goals start coming out left and right, maybe there's one is put away, though. But if goals start coming out left and right, I think Colorado's going to be in a lot more trouble.
A lot more trouble indeed, Powder. Moses, the demolition onto Excel. Slime gets ball control for Colorado, falls into the no man's land, and it's not where you want to be, but it's where you're going to find yourself. Less than a minute left on the clock. Crims nails it high, looks for the double tap, misses off the crossbar, and Moses has to change the momentum of the ball. Bounces it up, full boost in the pocket. Warped loses ball control themselves. Defenders have to get in the way, and Excel can do just that. 32 seconds remaining. Colorado, they've been close time and time again, but close, not going to cut it. You've got to put that in the goal.
Right, they've held defensively the vast majority of this game. Maybe it won't matter. Shot ripped out, just put away. There's a rebound coming in. It is, but it's slow. And now Colorado, they need to transition to offense. They do break down the other way. Can't get anything set up yet. Warped. Double commit with his teammate. Gives the ball away to Colorado in the final seconds. Pass up to Moses. Goes for the shot. Top shot off the crossbar. Still life, though. Over towards Moses in the corner. Gets the read, but it's all the way across the field. Will they get there in time? They cannot. And Mizzou walks away with game one.
We entered the garbage time there. We lost it, but it is a win regardless for Mizzou. I like what we saw right at the end there, but unfortunately the crossbar just had different plans online. I'm a little proud of myself, Powder. In the green room, I said game number one, probably a 1-0 in favor of Mizzou. And hey, I nailed it. My predictions were very bad last season. Hopefully that curse has been broken and we can see a new story of predictions. However, this story following the mathematical expectation, Mizzou won last week. They're looking to win this week. Colorado College unfortunately dropped their first week, and it feels like they might be dropping their second here unless they can change things up. However, Powder, not nearly as one-sided as I thought of an affair. I think we're seeing Colorado College playing a really, really strong defense. Unfortunately, Rocket League's not a game you can win with just defense.
Right, and when you make one simple mistake on defense that gives up the only goal, that's hard to see, and it's hard to play with as a player, knowing that you were that close. It was just one mistake that cost you. However, they can look at the rest of the, 4 minutes and 30 seconds of that game that they played stellar defense. They shut down Mizzou, who was on offense, like you said, 80% of the time. They got the stops when needed. Unfortunately for them, they just could not transition it to offense. And that's what I want to see them improve upon, is the transition to offense. Rather than just dumping it down or desperately trying to get down the field, taking a more methodical approach to setting up an offense. Like right there at the end, the shot that ripped off the crossbar was so close, and it was the best offense they set up the entire game. Unfortunately, just a little bit too late. They got to get back to more of that here in game two.
Kickoff gonna end in favor of Colorado College. No way, Moses sinks it early. Warp's not gonna let that happen. Mizzou, they score early in game one. They are not gonna let Colorado copy that play style here in game number two. Slime removes Warp from the equation for 2-point-some-odd seconds, and it's still not enough to grab a dominant ball control, clutches it up, and it's the very one they demolish that comes back into the fray. 30 seconds already off the clock, so this is around the time Mizzou put a point on board in game number one. Moses going to make sure they don't do that here in game number two. Just 2 seconds later, another goal comes through, but it's going to be blocked out again. Colorado's defense, it's strong, Powder. It's great. It's powerful. The peppering continues from Mizzou, and at least Colorado's defense kicks up before that one's on the board. So they can absolutely just wait for their time to strike, wait for their moment to sneak in.
What I'm loving from... and of course... Just as I start to talk about the defense, excels, picks them apart, gets the goal in to take a 1-0 lead.
1-0 lead on the board there for Mizzou, and it's exactly what we expect to see. Excels finds 1 point of their own, and now them and Crims both have a single point to talk about this evening. And it's only game two. I feel like Mizzou just waiting to warm up. However, maybe getting some cold feet around playing goalie. Just single-handedly walks it in, says, I'll do it myself, ties us up 1-1 on the game, and could possibly give Colorado the sign of life they need.
Yeah, and even off the kickoff, that could be huge for Colorado to build up their confidence. They were struggling in game one to build up an offense. All it took was a kickoff goal here. They immediately get the game tied back up. Let's see how they respond now. Their defense has been pretty tight so far. Fortunately, giving up 1 goal early on in this game. One past the Mizzou defense. Ripped shot in the middle. Can't get the clear just yet. Now Excelsis is there. However, Slime to Lime coming up fast to it. We'll look to take the challenge and get it done. Can't keep it in much longer. Moses just trying to play this one back. Excel's trying to fire it on just a bit wide. Crims on the rebound will knock it in and regain the lead.
The lead for Mizzou is back on the clock, Powder, and it's a tough one again. Look, Slime just right there. Unfortunately, too far in. It whips off to the side, and the ball enters that goal zone. Mizzou feeling comfortable. We're only about 90 seconds in. It's 3 points in total, but Mizzou finds the lead. They've just got to make sure they leave that goal covered, because that's the only reason Colorado's been able to slip in too far, is perhaps a little bit of overextension from Mizzou. And as I always say, that little bit went a long way. It went far enough for Colorado to put one on the board.
I do like what Colorado is doing on defense and where they're placing the ball. It's usually a slow touch towards the side that gives them time to, get back, get a little bit more boost, and then maybe finalize a clear. They're not just going for desperate touches. Oh, and a fake out, but the flick is off. I think he got disrupted by the Colorado defense. Here's a good pass out. This is what we need more of from Colorado, is a pass like that to get an offense set up.
Yeah.
It's a quick
I like it a lot. Yeah, it's not a Hail Mary clear either.
Right.
Like you said, somebody's right on it. Somebody's there to collapse in the moment. Unfortunately, Mizzou had the boost advantage. They were there to block it up, but the plan works. You know, it didn't work that time, but I think if you continue to execute that level of play, it can work well against this team. Ya has to play a hard defense, blocks 3 shots in a row, and hard clears it down toward the goal of Mizzou. We're getting ready to enter the second half of game number 2, and Mizzou wants to find themselves 2-0 on the series, but Colorado, this is a team that is absolutely going to claw, just fight tooth and nail to try and tie up this series, try to put a game win down. Oh, it's boxed out of the corner. Luckily enough, 2 defenders from Colorado keep Crimson Bay, and might be an opportunity here. Nope, blocked out again. Colorado's defense doing a very strong job, but it'd be the second time they lost by 1 powder. I'd like to see them line it up and at least tie things up, try and force an overtime.
Right, they're still getting it done what's necessary on defense to get the stops. It's just the transition that's still struggling most of the time. That's not the clear they want either. It's right into the hands of Crims. Now Ya has to go for it again. He bangs it out, but right into the hands of Excels. He's going to carry it further down, just over 1. Ya for the stop into open space. Fortunately for them, the rotations from Mizzou too strong now. They do break out for a second, and a good back pass to keep it going. Unfortunately, into the hands of Extels again, and Mizzou will try to set it back up.
90 seconds on the clock here for Colorado College to answer it. But like you said, Mizzou always looking for a setup, looking for a time to strike. Slime to get it towards the goal of Mizzou, but Excel's boxed out, cannot even be enough. Into the no man's land, hurdles toward the corner of the Colorado goal. Slime has to do something with nothing in the tank. Boxes up Excels, wins the challenge, but can't win the 2v1. Warp comes around. Ya has to fight it in the sky. A phenomenal pass down to the crossbar, just low enough to keep that ball out of goal. Excels is blocked again. 65 seconds left on the clock here, Powder, and Colorado College might have to kiss game number 2 goodbye, unless we got something like that from them with a surgeon's precision. Excels glides through the air, sinks it into goal, and almost guarantees Mizzou's win of game number 2.
Colorado College got a little bit too aggressive. Every player up at midfield or further up, they pay for it dearly. Down by 2. There is still time, but with the lack of offense that they've had, the only goal they have off the kickoff, can they get another? It's just a bit high. Now, Ya on the rebound towards the right side, put away. Still time, but you got to get it going quickly, needing 2. Pass in the midfield, cut off. Kept it going from Moses off the wall. Teammate coming in, beaten out. Now a clear all the way down. Colorado College has got to reconvene and get this done quickly.
36 seconds left on the clock, so 18 seconds per goal, but as Excels finds a clean one off the corner, they're going to be able to line up that moment. That's absolutely the nail in the coffin. We're looking at 1 goal per less than 10 seconds here from Colorado to win this match out. And while game number 2 comes to a close, Powder, at least game number 3 is around the corner. It's not a best of 3, it's a best of 5. And Colorado are going to have one more chance to change things up. Game 2 gets away from them a lot more than game 1.
Right, and it's tough to see when they seem to be playing, at least at first, better than they did in game 1. They made a silly mistake early in game 1, and then were playing for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, this time, Mizzou is just starting to warm up. They're pulling out the mechanics and doing what they can do to break apart the Colorado defense. It's getting what's necessary done, going for it across the field. Can't find it. Their way, Mizzou will walk out to a 2-0 lead in this series as they try to look towards a sweep in game 3. Colorado College has got to find a way to pick apart this defense more. They will end it with a goal, so maybe there'll be some hope heading into game 3.
There's some morale, no doubt about it, heading into game number 3. Colorado, they find that moment, they find that crack in the armor, and they strike. Ya really seems to be that leading player for the side of Colorado, the only one to put points on the board so far, Powder. Maybe there's a moment of team dynamic shift for Colorado College, because there's a lot of ways to play this game, but one we often see at the collegiate level is a player who we often, or at least I often refer to as a striker, right? They're the one going out into the front. They're the one finding the goals. They're the ones creating the opportunities for the team. And the other 2 players tend to play kind of a support style. They look for demolition. They make sure there's not a boost drought happening. They look for bumps to get your team ball control. Maybe Colorado wants to lean into that a little more. Maybe they want to give Ya the spotlight and have these other 2 players live in the wings to see if they can put a win on the board, because it feels like when Ya is set up properly, there is gold to be found.
Yeah, they did a great job, especially off that kickoff, setting him up. Mizzou was caught awkward. They didn't realize that the ball was going to go straight back. Unfortunately, other than that, there's just not that much offense being set up from Colorado College. The only time I can really think that they went for a play was, again, in game 1 of the final seconds, that shot down the middle. Other than that, Mizzou's been stopping them at the source of the offense at midfield. They're not getting much further than that. They need to find a way, whether it's through aggression, demolitions. I know that was our thing back in the fall, was demolitions are going to open up the field. And at this point, if I'm Colorado College, I'm saying go for it. You got to go for the demolitions, take them out, open things up, and see if you can set up an offense that way.
Yeah, I mean, while the season may have changed, my opinion of demolition certainly has not. I completely agree with you, Powder. It is a powerful and I truly believe underrated way to find a lot of great value in this game. People are always afraid to run the risk of demoing because it does put you out of position for a moment, but you're putting them notably more out of position. So 9 out of 10 times, I can consider that worth it, depending on the space of the game. And as we jump into game number 3, Mizzou, they want this one. They want to start week number 2, their first game on stream, with a 3-0 victory. Last season, we had 10 3-0 wins in a row, and I'm curious if Mizzou is going to start that curse all over again. They're really looking like they might be able to, but Colorado, the signs of life have been their Powder. We just need to see these pieces put together, make a Colorado win come true.
And you know, starting off in this game, I'm liking it a lot more. They're going for more passes. They're looking for the back wall. Unfortunately, Mizzou's had the back wall pretty well covered up to this point. Now a double commit from Mizzou might give Slime to Lime some space. He whiffs the ball, but so does Crims. Now 2 meet in the midfield. It's a neutral challenge. Excels, caught awkward. Into the corner now is looking for it. Pass in the midfield. Slime to Lime in underneath 2. Crims has to turn on it. Gets bumped out of the way. Can't take the challenge though, so here comes Ward down the field. Into the corner from Slime to Lime. Follows it up to get the clear. Crims taking over again to keep the offense on.
Slime to Lime again had 0 boost on line, could not get away from Excel's fast enough. Goes for the setup, there's the follow through, and unfortunately, it is not a point on board for Mizzou yet, but if you're a Colorado fan, I'm sure you are cheering your head off because they are keeping this one neck and neck. No free goals, no early lineups, and as we see the first goal almost happen, it's actually from Colorado. They've gotten the closest so far, but close, just not going to cut it, Powder. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and neither of those are in a game like Rocket League. Box into the corner, a 1v1 goes up into the sky. Moses and Warp hurdle the ball towards the no man's land, and no boost online again. I'm harping on it because I want to see it change. You need the boost to play at the pace Mizzou is going to make you, but maybe there's a miracle like that where you put that first point on the board and give Colorado their first lead in this series.
Colorado not only finding holes, but creating holes in the Mizzou defense. There was a lot more aggression. That goal alone set up by bumping the last man out of the way. Great job to take your time on the flick, get the goal in. Colorado College has their first lead of this series. Excited to see how they're going to play with it. Mizzou, they seem to be playing faster, but it's not working for them. Colorado suddenly up by 2.
Hello, Colorado. That is Slime to Lime's first goal of the series so far. We've only seen 3 from That is one of the players from Colorado finally making the space has created and getting a beautifully arced shot into goal. 2 minutes off 2 points on the board, and 2 glimmers of hope in the eye of Colorado right now as they want to win this game and take us at least to a game 4.
Not a great touch from Crims. Moses taking over towards open space. Excelst running out the challenge. 2 went for Colorado College. A fake on 1. Just nothing in the tank. Slime to Lime with the clear. Gives it right to Warp, though. A little pop to keep it in the mid. Excelst coming in. Lays it towards the back wall. Moses will take over now. Mizzou's offense has been not necessarily slowing down, and of course, now it's off the crossbar and forced into an own goal to cut that lead in half.
A strong lead from Colorado, like you mentioned, Powder, cut in half in its entirety here. A very slow burn roll, but a round win is a round win regardless, and that 1v1 is won by Mizzou. 2:32 remaining on the clock, so we're going to jump into the second half of Game 3. Can Mizzou completely close the gap that was once created? They're definitely going to try it as the ball hurdles toward their own goal. Luckily enough, the crossbar rolls it down so it does not fall center field for somebody to knock in an easy one. Gets the lineup, goes into the corner, tries to take it high, but no boost in the tank. Trying not to need it, Powder, but it's truly just so vital in this game.
It is, and a risky play from Colorado College, trying to keep the offense on. Barely results in a goal from Mizzou. Good job to beat out 1. However, Warp waits in the mid. Gives it
what
up
a pass.
to Crims. Now Excel's chasing him down. Bumps him out of the way.
Goodness.
Crims on his head to tie the game.
Just truly incredible there. The pass into the center field. Crims knows they need to play it careful because Moses is there, and Excels could have been there for the follow-up, but they didn't even need it. 2 minutes remain. Everybody's got 2 points, and this is just as likely to be our last as it is to only be our third. The kickoff will be ending in favor of Colorado, but the pass from Mizzou is where it needs to be to steal ball control right back. Moses has to Hail Mary clear it into the corner, tries to catch a 1v1, a phenomenal pass into center. Excels gets the demo, and nobody from Colorado can clean it up in time. 100 seconds remain.
Mizzou trying to take over. Moses, though, does win up a challenge to go into the corner. Yeah, beaten out. Slime to Lime there to follow. Put into the corner, though, by Warped. Yo, winning out that challenge again. Something that Colorado College has done so well is winning these challenges. Now it's just about setting them up into goals. Here's an opportunity. 2 misses. Crims taking over. Now Slime to Lime is the last man back, and he's going for it. Taking enough time, though, for his teammates to get back. Work down into the corner, trying to set up another Mizzou offense. Can't get the shot yet. It's cleared out the other way.
1 minute remains, final 60 seconds of the matchup, and Mizzou, they want to win this. They want to avoid an overtime because they want to show a dominant win. You know, an overtime notably more dominant without, or a series win notably more dominant without an overtime is what I'm trying to say. And it's feeling like we might be able to go to one powder. Colorado's defense playing the way it always does, which just makes it so hard for Mizzou to capitalize on even the smallest of moments like that demolition. That whole demo spent chasing for ball control, and instead it actually sets Colorado up for a possibility to strike again.
Do lose the momentum, however, pushed back the other way. Excels winning that challenge. Slime to Lime just a bit too quick to it. With 30 seconds left, Mizzou looking for the, basically at this point, almost game-winning goal. Taking one off the field to open things up. But Moses on the read into the midfield. Crims looking for the read. Does find it towards the side. Loses it out, though, just a bit wide. Played high. Favorable for Mizzou. Down towards the net, just a bit wide. Now Crims slowing it down. Can't beat out yet. Will drop, maybe, as it goes the other way. Excels
good catch
to keep this one up. It will drop, and we head to a Game 3 overtime.
Game 3 overtime. Mizzou fighting to end it. Colorado fighting for a stake in this matchup. They're only 1 goal away from a series loss in a 3-0 fashion. Crims has the lineup, but finally has the boost they need to be where they want to be, and Warped cannot find that free goal. It's opened up wide. Crims finds it center field, and Excels has to play a defense, but it goes up and over. Warped goes for an opportunity to strike, and it's passed towards their own goal by a teammate. Always a terrifying moment. They can set something up just like that. Luckily, Excels was there. It goes high. Warped wants to knock it low. The crossbar says no, and nobody is in center. They catch it fast enough. Crims hides the series momentum. It's a slow burn center field. Spikes it towards goal. Warped there to catch it nearly a minute into this overtime.
Risky play earlier on from Colorado to not jump up in the midfield, just giving space to Mizzou. But you know what? It pays. They're still in this overtime, although a little bit risky now. They give it away. Shot is going to be a little bit high. A miss, though. One taken off the field, and that was the man coming in for the rebound. With open space in front, wins the challenge. The challenge sends it high. We're still going further into overtime.
I can't believe that wasn't a goal, Powder. That was so unbelievably close, but it's boxed out, and that's all that matters. Close, never gonna cut it. Is this gonna be Colorado's kind of turnaround? Like, hey, look at us. We do have what it takes to shoot out with the best of the best. 80 seconds now into this overtime, and both teams have been milliseconds away from a goal, but nobody puts it down yet. Warped tries to find a gentle setup. Yuz's physicality makes the difference. Excels could have it if Yuz misses, but the crossbar still wants this game to keep going. I cannot believe how many of these goals have been disrupted by the placement of the crossbar. Like it moves, it's always in the same spot.
Yeah, the placement just a little bit off for Mizzou. After all that offense, nothing to show for it.
Ooh.
Now a shot comes out from Colorado. A little bit of space to get another clear from Mizzou. Yeah, has to play awkwardly. He's giving away possession. Now he can finally get it over one. Crims, this is an awkward touch now behind the defense and in. And Moses brings him back to 1 game.
Moses parting the overtime there and puts Colorado on the board with their first win and Moses' first goal of the evening. A 3-2 overtime win extends us all the way into a game number 4, Powder. I cannot believe that they're able to clutch this out. Game 2 is a 4-1. It's super dominant. Game 1 was a 1-0. Both of those in favor of Mizzou. They always had the lead. They always felt like they were the team in charge, but right there, Colorado. It took them, a long time, but better late than never. They come back, they win a game, they take us to game number 4, which means no 10-game 3-0 curse happening this season. We get to run it back. All stakes are off. This is a brand new season.
And I had hope for Colorado early on in that game. They got off to that quick 2-0 lead, but then Mizzou just started to claw their way back. They got 2 goals back to tie it up, and then we remained scoreless for the vast majority of the game, and that's another situation where Mizzou might be a little bit scary. They could catch Colorado off guard, but they weren't able to. We go into a deep overtime, and Colorado picks them apart just enough to sneak a third one through and take their first game win of this series. Now it's just about if they can keep that going into game 4 and potentially game 5 if they want to get this reverse sweep done.
Yeah, it's not about doing it once, not even about doing it twice. You're going to have to do it thrice, and now 3 times in a row, Powder, because Mizzou's up by 2. They have 2 on the board already. They just need that 1 more to win, but Colorado, they need to win 1. That's done. Okay, now what do? Win another one immediately with no mistakes. And then after that, do the exact same thing for a third time and give us a reverse sweep for our first series. The cards are on the table. The river has yet to run, and Colorado is looking to go at least to a game number 5. It's all hypotheticals from here, Powder. Every game is a GG go next. Just because you won 1 or 2 does not mean that third one is a shoo-in. Colorado, they've seen that, they know it, and they want to show us what a game 5 can look like in week number 2.
Colorado better be ready, though, because Mizzou not going to be happy to drop that game. They're quick to the offense. The shot coming in from Excelst is wide. You can't steal away the boost either. This might give some momentum over towards Colorado to build an offense. Not quite yet, though. Slime to Lime on a turn. Dumps it behind 2. Excelst on a turn himself. Up over 1. Can't get it past Yo, though. Now it's Crims trying to take over into a little bit of space for Mizzou. Not quite working out yet, though. Early on, Colorado College getting it done, but a quick race in from Yo has to get the save. Now out towards the midfield is Colorado. Just back and forth we go.
Looking to go back and forth, but Mizzou finds a completely open house. No, the door's not even locked. The door's not even sealed all the way. It's a wide open goal for Mizzou to walk right in and reestablish a dominance. They were lacking a little bit in game number 3. It's exactly what we want to be seeing from a team that wants to find that win right now.
This is what we saw from Colorado in the previous game as well that caused the 2-goal comeback from Mizzou. Was just, I don't even necessarily want to call it awkward rotations, just if anything, it's a little bit of aggression. Going too far up the field, no one left home for an extended amount of time, gives Mizzou virtually a free goal and the first lead of this game 4 that Colorado needs to take if they want a chance at this series.
1 minute down, only 4-ish remaining. A demolition onto Excelst puts Colorado in the driver's seat. Pun fully intended on that one. Slime to Lime. Can't find the lineup they want, but as Yuz recorrection puts it towards center field, Slime finds an easy goal to tie things up 1-1 in game number 4. Last time we saw a tie, Mizzou did not like the result. Let's see if that tells true again in this series.
Colorado just doing a better and better job of being able to pick apart that defense, finding holes, creating holes whenever needed. Under a minute and a half in, they already get things tied back up, and like you said, this favored Colorado College in the previous game. Now when a double commit happens, though, Warped will come around on it, loses it away. Now back towards the middle for Ya. Open space to work with. A double commit from Mizzou now is Warped. Quick recovery there. It's Excelst with the clear down the field. Slime to Lime right into the hands of Crims, going straight towards the net. Slime to Lime for the stop, but the offense continues for Mizzou.
The offense continues to pepper down, and Colorado has an open goal for the moment, but they realize Mizzou might as well if Crims has to double down for Excelst, who gets demolished in that moment. Passes up, clean into center field, Warped there to catch it towards a completely untouched half of the goal. Nobody's home, and Ya cannot move fast enough. Crims putting down their 6th point of the series so far, the 2nd one of this game, and Mizzou up 2-1, 3 minutes remain.
There's the speed on this shot that allows Crims to get the goal. Even if he places that left side away from the defender, he likely catches up to it, but he's able to hit it off the corner of his hitbox, get enough power on it to beat out the defense. Mizzou right back in the lead. Now they just need to maintain this. Like we said, Colorado College has been doing a better job of picking apart the defense. Mizzou's got to hold strong here if they want to walk away with the Game 4 victory and the series victory on top of that.
Series victory is the name of the game right now for Mizzou. Colorado, it's just about trying to get the opportunity to take that next breath, to play that next game, to force a game number 5. And as we enter the second half of what could possibly be our final game, Colorado's really got to step it up. They can't pull any punches here. They can't make any mild mistakes. They can't allow any more goals from Mizzou if they want to find a win. And as the demolition comes through onto Excels, you think that would slow Mizzou down, but instead they double down. Rims goes for another goal. Here's Excels for a secondary attempt. Moses blocks it out, keeps Colorado at a 1-point deficit, and as we hit the 2-minute clock here, Colorado still back against the wall. It is fighting pure primal instinct right now.
Mizzou getting more aggressive to try to open up space, trying to get Moses out of the way earlier on to keep the offense going. And now here's Excels off the ceiling with the reset. Warp coming in. It's just a fake instead from Excels. He extends the lead to 2.
Selst putting the 10th total point on line for University of Missouri, but only the 3rd in this game alone. 3-1, 109 seconds remain. Colorado, they've got about 54.5 seconds to find 2 goals. That's per goal, 54.5 seconds, give or take. And they need to find it early, Powder, because it's not about waiting till that last of the 55 seconds. It's about nailing it as fast as possible to give yourself as much time as you need to find that tie goal. However, the tie, less and less likely. Excels no boost in the tank. That possibly an open goal against Mizzou. Warped, very lucky that the ball did not just bounce right off them into goal.
Close call there from Mizzou, but they maintain the 2-goal lead. And now looking for more. Double commit from Mizzou. They still went out the challenge. Yeah, quick to it though. Last of his boost to push it towards the net. See enough stop from Crims. Can't follow it up though. Allows a chance for Colorado College until the deep clear comes out from Excels. To it in time. Challenge. Hard off the corner. Favorable for Mizzou again. Time is ticking down for Colorado College, and they need 2.
Oh, they need 2 goals in 60 seconds. That's 1 per 30 for those that are curious. And as the clock continues to tick down, of course, that number is going to shrink. And back in the first game of this series, I talked about how important it is when you recognize it's not always about just the opponents, but the clock is a determining factor in this game. When a game comes to an end, it's the points that decide it, as many games work. And when you're looking at this, it might be about what do we do to go through them, not to go at them. Because if you go toe-to-toe with a giant like Mizzou, often you're going to get knocked down. But if you can find a way to get through them, to increase those demolitions, to shake up the team comps and the strategies they want to play, that's how you beat a team like this. It's all about deconstruction. With only 22 seconds left, 1 per 11 feels pretty unlikely, especially as now it's only 1 per 5. Colorado would have to score 4 kickoff goals in a row here, Powder. This series is chalked up.
Mizzou did what they needed to do here in Game 4.
Warp's first goal of the series. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like a pretty even team effort from everybody, but
definitely
Warp coming in late to secure the win for Mizzou. Maybe they can get a kickoff goal. No, not even that. Mizzou back the other way. It was a good response from them here in this Game 4. They lost a close one in Game 3 in overtime. And at the end of the day, Mizzou doing what they do best on offense to get the job done. They will go to 2-0 in the next spring season. Unfortunately for Colorado College, they will drop to 0-2.
They will unfortunately fall 0-2, Powder, like you mentioned, and Mizzou got to be feeling comfortable with the performance we saw from them so far today. They won off stream, they won on stream. They're feeling good, and that's the exact performance they want to be bringing to the table in that matchup, in that series. Our first winning team today. Got 3 more coming down the line, right? We've got an interview coming up in a few minutes, but until then, Powder, I think we can kind of talk about what we're expecting to see for the rest of the night. We talked about a lot of these teams are probably bringing some familiar faces out.
Right, and I'm excited to see how these players have been doing, throughout the winter break. Obviously, you stay on with the scrims, you're not competing as much, but there is plenty of time to improve. So I'm excited to see what they bring out trying to come into the spring season.
Yeah, I know after this interview, which will be happening in a few minutes, we have Kansas State University versus University of Cincinnati. As an Ohio boy, I'm super excited to see that. I know Cincy has an incredible esports program that can really excel in a lot of ways, so hopefully they can come out strong. I don't know their record. I forgot to write it down. I'm not going to lie to you, chat. I know that Kansas State, they're a strong team. They're looking for a win as well. After that, Lubbock Christian University versus West Virginia University. That'll be our 3rd series. Those are 2 really good teams, Powder. I'm really excited for that one. And then to close things out, 2 more powerhouse teams, possibly actually had the most screen time last season. James Madison University, a team we saw a lot against Lackawanna College, a team that I feel like we didn't really see until towards the end of the season. And if I'm not mistaken, they did pretty well for themselves.
Right, yeah, we got to see them late regular season. I want to say conference championships as well. So yeah, some familiar faces around here, some new schools as well. And that's the fun thing to start off the season. We get to check in on the teams we got to see last semester. We get to see some new faces around here as well, see what they have to do. And that's just the fun part about the beginning of the season, is getting basically all the experiences here early on.
Yeah, and getting the experience of no 3-0 this time. You know, Mizzou starting strong, but Colorado, they get to say, we put a game down on them. We've seen a lot of teams not put a game down on Mizzou. That's a tough thing to do. It shows the potential in that team, and it shows the possibility of growth here in week number 2. Yes, it's the first week on stream, but it is week number 2 of what we've seen so far. And I got to say, Mizzou looking good. You know, there's a new player in there. I think Warped changes the pace of play, but not in a negative way. I think it just kind of forces them to make some new strategies. They can't, like hit you with cinder blocks over and over until something changes, right? They definitely feel more methodical with their strikes. And that's exciting because Mizzou definitely felt like a rush down team. But this time, there's definitely some calculation between the plays we're seeing.
Right, and I liked the passing plays that they were trying to bring out. Early on, they were going a lot for the back wall. I didn't see, though, Colorado College wasn't really allowing that to happen. And ever since then, it was a lot of solo plays. It was a lot of passing plays that broke things up. And just some aggression later on, too. In Game 4, they needed to go for more bumps to open things up, some fakes. They were really having to pull out all the stops to break through that tough Colorado defense.
Breaking through the Colorado defense was a challenge that perhaps Mizzou wasn't expecting, as this was a really tough matchup. As we saw, Game 1, 1-0 victory, 4-1 victory, 3-2 loss. So I wonder if there was kind of like a fire lit underneath Mizzou in game number 4, where they walk away with a dominant victory once again. But folks, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a super short break right here. We're going to pull an interviewee in from Mizzou. After that, we'll jump into our next matchups. We'll see you right back here at Star League in just a couple of minutes. Hey folks, I'm sure this comes as no surprise, as we all know collegiate students are very, very busy. Mizzou unfortunately can't join us for the interview right now, but that is A-okay. We completely understand. They have whole lives outside of just those couple of minutes where we get to spend with them here on this wonderful Monday. But we're going to go ahead, throw to about a 5-ish minute break. We'll see you right back here with our second of 4 series here tonight. Be back in a few. Series number 1 ends in a 3-1 victory for Mizzou over Colorado College, but luckily enough, that was only 25% of the Rocket League we have for you today at an A-Star League. Coming up next, University of Cincinnati going up against Kansas State University. Now, Powder, I said this before the break, I'll say it again now. I'm notably more familiar with the Cincinnati squad, being from Ohio myself, but, I'm excited to see what Kansas State, can bring to the table.
Right, and Kansas State, I don't think we got to see them last semester.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, but Cincinnati, we got to see once or twice. This is a very solid roster, one that Kansas State's going to have to watch out for. Both of these teams, it's been a little bit of an opposite start to the season. Cincinnati 0-1, a surprising start to the season based on what we saw last semester. Kansas State coming out 1-0, but obviously the records aren't going to tell the full tale when Cincinnati, we know, is a much better roster than maybe the record reflects.
Yeah, absolutely. The roster of Cincinnati is strong. They've got the Engineer, they've got Frick, and they've got Yellow, and then Kansas State University, Red, Alpha 33, and Orbs, by the way. So definitely never seen those names before. Definitely now I'm confident we did not see Kansas State last year, but I know Cincinnati, now that I'm looking at their names, I saw them last week in a different collegiate organization, and they won there. So they are putting some wins on the board in some places over others, and hopefully they can come out a little warmer today. There's always that, I don't want to call it a mystery because somebody knows, but I don't know off the top of my head who their opponent was, and it could have been one of those top dog players. It could have been Northwood, it could have been one of those teams that's consistently very hard to beat. It could have been Keanu, somebody like that, but a loss is on the board, unfortunately, and they are definitely going to want to break that curse early. So I assume Cincinnati, they're coming out 110% on the board. They're going to try to fight, put that break even 1-1 back on for their series record.
Right, and these are two teams where I enjoy getting to cast teams like this because they aren't the teams that you're typically going to see on a main broadcast. They're not the absolute top dogs. They can make deep runs into conference championships, into playoffs, but they're not ones you're going to see every single day. So it's fun to be able to watch these teams, especially at the beginning of their season. I think we only saw Cincinnati later on.
Yes,
kind of
we
like
did.
Lackawanna, we mentioned. It was only later on in the season, so I'm excited to see what this team has to bring in week 2 when, like you said in the first match, there's still going to be a little bit of rust as you're trying to get things figured out this semester.
Yeah, there's a little bit of rust just possibly going in with a new roster or a new team this semester starting over, new opponents possibly being on stream for the first time. There's so many variables in this game, and the beautiful part of it is Rocket League itself stays the same in a lot of ways. So the game is always comforting, the game is always familiar, and unlike a lot of other esports, Powder, this isn't the type of game where we're seeing, a meta shift or like new characters or whatever. Rocket League at its core is a very simple game to understand, and that's part of the reason I love it, is because we can always jump right back in and know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, exciting one we're gonna get to see here soon. Of course, with us watching Cincinnati already, I feel like that's gonna make us not necessarily biased, but I think we're gonna just automatically favor Cincinnati a little bit.
We've seen them. Yeah.
Right, we've gotten to see them before, but that's why it's cool to see that Kansas State actually started off the season with a win. So I'm excited to see what this team has to bring, having not seen them before and also seeing what Cincinnati can do. I think this is a match that could really go the distance if both teams are coming off as strong as they did last semester.
Yeah, I can call that a mystery. It is the play style or the performance of Kansas State, because we know they put a win on the board. We don't know who it was against. We don't know how they did it. We don't know how close it was. So this team could come out, like you said, it could be a nail biter, breakneck speed, 3-2 victory, or it could be Kansas City or Kansas State. Why do I keep doing that? It could be Kansas State walking in and just demoing Cincinnati for the next 15 minutes, and then we all go home a little confused. But Cincinnati, they are a very capable team. They're a very impressive team, and one that I've seen claw back from the jaws of defeat. So they're looking to do that today. A loss on the board. They want to put Kansas State kind of neck and neck with them. I'm sure at the end of this week in particular, a lot of teams are going to find themselves at that 1-1 scoreline. Both Cincinnati and Kansas. I guess Cincinnati wants to be, Kansas not so much.
Right, and this is where it can get exciting, because even early on, all these results matter. I mean, bringing these teams to even 1-1 this early on in the season, you could get down to the end of the season and one of these teams goes to conference championships based on a tiebreaker. We saw multiple conferences last semester be decided on a tiebreaker on who's going and who's going home. So again, every week matters. Yes, you have time to get things ramped up to have a successful end of the season, but you've got to focus in early on to get those wins when necessary.
Looking for the wins is the name of the game. And we did get a little bit of intel that one of the players had their computer literally just fully blue screen. So they're trying to reset it. They're trying to get it set up. And as soon as they do, we will jump into game number 1. For those that might be joining us with these 2 new teams, I'm sure you know the basics, but I'll run it down anyway. This is a best of 5 or first to 3 series. So if they lose game number 1, it's whatever, because there's at least 2 more. It's the team that wins 3 games today that determines that victory here tonight. So game number 1 is itself kind of an individual entity of losing it or winning it. Doesn't necessarily dictate the rest of the series. It's what you do with what you gained or learned in game number 1 that can dictate your win or loss that in that matchup. So, let's say Cincinnati loses game 1. Okay, bummer, but hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you found out their strategies, their methods, if they're boost routing, if you can demo them. You got to look for the smallest opportunity to strike powder, because that pin-sized hole can be just enough for you to fully break a wall down and put a win on your team's side.
Right, and we saw a tiny bit of that in the previous match where Colorado College, they impressed us both coming off in game 1. It was a 1-0 victory for Mizzou. That only goal was because of a simple mistake from Colorado College. Other than that, it was a tight defense the entire time. They got the stops, just weren't able to translate it to offense, but they built upon that. They scored more and more goals throughout the series before Mizzou finally was able to shut them down. That's something where in a closer series like this, where you might have closer skill level, that's going to be even more huge to try to get you that victory. It's tougher when you're going against a team like Mizzou, but when the teams are closer in skill level, that could be huge towards winning the series.
That's what it's all about, is that skill level coming into this matchup. And something we talk a lot about is kind of the hypothetical metas, I guess, of playing this game, right? Where sometimes we'll see 3 players who go out and they kind of run their own individual play styles and they just try to make it work to glue the pieces together where they can. Or we see teams come through with a striker. I kind of broke down that whole team dynamic earlier, where they just want one person to succeed and the other 2 set them up. Or there's the teams that come in with 3 great players where communication is key, and that communication carries a lot of teams to greatness. And how great is communication? Like me communicating to all of you that we do have to throw to a short break, because these tech issues are a pain, but it wouldn't be esports without a tech issue somewhere. So we're going to go ahead, get it fixed, and we'll be right back with you as soon as we can. Don't go far. Thank you all so much for waiting as we got that figured out, but we are ready to jump in. The computers are all fixed. All 6 players are chomping at the bit to jump into game number 1. University of Cincinnati 0-1 on the season so far. Kansas State University 1-0 on the season so far. Both these teams want to put the other down and quickly. So Powder, we have not seen these teams play so far this season, but man, am I excited to see how they perform.
I'm very excited to see this. You know, we were talking about how Cincinnati, we got to see last semester, and they were a pretty solid roster. Again, surprising to see them start off at 0-1. But as we hop into this match, it's really just about how Kansas State is going to come out as well. Not having seen them before, it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up.
They're definitely looking for a matchup as fast as they can find one, and we've only got to hope that Kansas State comes out swinging on their stream debut, a time that we'll see a lot of players get a little bit nervous, but I don't think we're really seeing that so far. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of confidence actually coming out from Kansas State. They've got strong ball control and they want to hold on to it for as long as they can, but Cincinnati, they're definitely not going down quietly either. A lot of back and forth. It's a very traditional game number 1 so far where nobody wants to be the first to make a mistake. So nobody's really taken those hero plays quite yet. Almost a minute off the clock. Alpha 33 wants to find that first goal, and with the help of Red, can't even sink it down. The Engineer, a perfect block to keep that lineup at a 0-0.
Cincinnati now marching down the field. And he get the pinch towards the mid. He can miss from Alpha. Probably calculated actually for a teammate to come back towards it. Off the back wall now. Yellow all the way back, just waiting. Smart play there as Alpha gives it away. Orbs back down towards the middle, right into the hands of Frick. He takes over, bangs it upward with a follow, a little bit wide. Can he double it? It's in the mid. Engineer coming in, gets the challenge and in, and Cincinnati up strong.
Cincinnati takes him a minute and 20 seconds, but better late than never. Frick, like you said, the pass is there. A double commit leaves the goal open just enough for the Engineer to sneak it into the goal line. If it was maybe 5 more feet forward, it could have been boxed out of that equation, but luckily enough, Kansas State not great at math on that one. 80 seconds already gone, 3:40 still remaining. Cincinnati looking for a secondary strike, but Kansas State coming out very strong. Wants to tie things up. Red, unfortunately, can't find it. And Yellow, that's an open goal, but it's too far to the side. Not the freebie they were hoping for.
Still, though, with the offense. Gets the flip reset, can't get the follow. Over time for the Engineer to come upfield, get the challenge. One in the midfield. Nobody from his team, though, able to keep it going yet. All 3 players from Kansas State clumped on the left side. This is not going to work out for them. This is now back into the hands of the Bearcats. Into the corner is Frick, up, beaten out by Kansas State. They break out the other way. Not much happening with that, though, is Yellow. Up over the back wall. Now a challenge from Red coming in. But a little bit awkward as Cincinnati forced to give away the possession. Alpha 33 turning around on it. Teammate in the midfield wins out the challenge, but not much offense to be found yet, since he goes up the wall looking for another clear.
And he wants that clear early, and I think they could just be playing a very elongated keep away to make sure that Kansas State doesn't have the room to strike or even the time to think about it. If they're constantly stuck in a pseudo panic of, oh my goodness, what do we do next? Cincinnati can sneak in goals back to back like that. Frick puts the second one on the board and drastically increases the chances of a Cincinnati win here in game number 1.
And it's just good speed there from Frick, able to beat out the defender right in front of him. And the teammate for Kansas State, he's rotating back, but again, just not quick enough. The speed from Cincinnati, a little bit too much to handle for Kansas State so far. Is Yellow now. Can't get anything going off the ceiling. Given away possession again. That's all 3 for Kansas State. And now on a miss, Red will get the clear and could work out. 1 miss from Cincinnati. Doesn't matter though. Engineer just causing chaos in the midfield. Back again for Kansas State. What a challenge there. Engineer on the miss. Alpha needs this on.
No.
But not nearly enough power. It's the Bearcats back the other way.
Bearcats finding themselves in an opportunity to strike with only 2 minutes remaining. They've got 2-0 on the board, and it's where you can feel safe, but not completely kind of it's a one fight, right? There's 2 minutes left. That's 1 goal per minute. So Kansas State, they've got nearly half the game to make some kind of magic happen. Cincinnati, they want to continue peppering down shot after shot, breaking through the defense of Kansas State and showing them just because we lost week number 1 does not mean we are looking to lose week number 2 as well. Right now, Powder, that message is being sent, and there's only 90 seconds are left on the clock. Kansas State's got to change something before Cincinnati doesn't let them score a darn thing in game 1.
I think the main change they need is space. Like, look at them. They're all up on the right side, and you know what? They make it work out. It's a pass over to Red. He knocks it home and cuts that deficit in half.
Ace is found there in a critical moment, a pivotal one at that. Red puts the first point for Kansas on the board, and the lead has been cut in half. That's why you cannot feel comfortable with a 1-point lead, because it only takes one to cut it in half in the blink of an eye, sharing a possible loss in the face. 80 seconds left. Kansas State needs one, tie it up, give us our second overtime of the day. And it's a big ask, Powder, but if anybody's capable, maybe it is this Kansas State squad.
They know they do it with plenty of time left. It's just a matter of giving away, or not giving away, but trying to get back to offense. They're giving some close calls to Cincinnati, especially a left side banger from Frick. He gains that lead right back to 2.
Frick has the lead on that second point lead again, Powder, like you mentioned, and that's Frick's second goal of the game already. So definitely making space for Cincinnati when they need it most. 62 seconds left. Kansas State looking for their own time to strike, put a win on the board for them, and not sure what's going to be happening in game one. 1 goal per 30 seconds. It's in the cards, absolutely, but considering, looking at math takes you 4 minutes to score once, not sure we're going to see 2 in less than a minute.
No, especially not with the offense continuously going for Cincinnati. Kansas State needs to win this out, and they do. Too far away from Red. Take the shot right away. Alpha 33, he is up, playing a slow off the back wall. Orbs, no chance there, forced to turn back. Game 1 looking more and more unlikely for Kansas State. They do win out that challenge, but they've got to get it going on this set, and they can't get it done. This one will bounce into the midfield. Alpha 33 hands it away to Cincinnati again. 20 on the clock, and another shot ripping out, almost a double. This is not looking good for Kansas State. They're going to need to look to claw back here in game 2.
Trying to claw back a defeat here once again. 1 point was great. The fourth from Cincinnati might even feel a little bit better. That's a hat trick for Frick coming into that round, Powder, and Cincinnati giving us a very dominant performance. As we learned in our back series, and our last series, and as I said earlier, game 1 does not dictate the rest of the series, but it very well may dictate the pace we'll be seeing in Cincinnati. They like to keep it quick and hot. They want to make sure the team, their opponent, has no time to think about what choice to make next. Yellow goes for a buzzer beater, can't find the lineup, and it's going to be a miss. I think this is Cincinnati, game 1, already 1/3 of the way done with the goal they came tonight to achieve.
Yeah, for Cincinnati, the offense has been spectacular up to this point. Plenty of opportunities to be found. 13 shots on the board for them, and led the way by Frick, too. So Kansas State, they need to find a way to silence Frick, because he has been the man for Cincinnati up to this point. I like what I'm seeing from Kansas State when they can get on offense. The one goal that they had was an excellent passing play off of a counterattack. They need to find more of that, and especially right now, though, just shut down the offense from Cincinnati.
Yeah, so you go back to our first series. I feel like we're saying the same thing. It felt like when Colorado College could find time to be on the offense, it was really strong. It was very capable, but it was the fact they couldn't play to the pace of their opponents. It's proactive versus reactive. I said it all last season. You're going to hear it all over again, because this game is the best definition, the best example of what that means, where one team takes they take the pace, they make sure the game is being played at their speed, whether it be fast or slow, and the opponents have to adapt to that. Right now, it feels like Cincinnati is playing so fast that Kansas State is constantly like, oh, be on defense. Oh, be on defense. And then all of a sudden 5 minutes are gone, and they were only able to score once in that 5 minutes. You've got to break the momentum. You've got to break the speed. Best way to do that, probably a boost drought. Send somebody out, try to farm as much boost as possible, and remove that from the arsenal of Cincinnati to find success in games 2 through maybe 5.
And I think that is really the key right now, is because we discussed early on, it's the speed from Cincinnati that resulted in their first few goals. Kansas State just a little bit too slow to catch up to it, unfortunately. It is those boost routes that might be necessary for them to find their way here in this next game. Otherwise, Cincinnati's going to build out another high-powered offense, be able to get out to another lead.
It's not quite the speed we expected from game 1, and instead an open goal from Kansas State gives Cincinnati a very early lead. That's exactly what they want to be seeing, Powder. Game 1 was a bit of a breeze, and game 2 starting off strong for Yellow. That's their first point of the series as well.
Fantastic start here from everybody on Cincinnati getting involved. They just need to find a way, Kansas State does, to shut this down. There's too much space being given. Engineer almost able to find a double off the back wall where he stopped out. Alpha trying to win out this challenge. It's in a good position to take over the offense. However, it's Red giving it away again. Another clear, but it's right into the hands of the Engineer. Good demolition, though. That type of aggression slow down the offense for Cincinnati. It's just about building up a Kansas State offense. A good challenge there. Fortunately for them, right back the other way again in a close call. A little bit risky to let that one go. However, it's back in favor for Kansas State.
Yeah, they decide they're going to have to risk it, and with only a minute off the clock, Kansas State, they want to throw everything at the wall and just pray that anything sticks. They find themselves in a very tough spot, down a game, down a point in the second game, and while it is continuously that GG go next, when you're stuck in a moment like this, you can find yourself beginning to struggle. You're like, my goodness, how is it they're always one step ahead of us? What the heck is going on with this? Kansas State definitely trying to figure out what the heck is going on indeed. And continue keeping a close eye on their offense to see if they can find those clutch factor moments they really need to put a success on the board here.
They really do need to set up an offense as well. No shots on the board, 90 seconds in. The engineer getting a stop, trying to shut down the offense. It's quickly happening now for Cincinnati. Wide. Orbs taking a very wide route on this. It is successful. Slow shot comes out. Alpha 33 the other way, but into the hands of the engineer. Rick taking over down low, round one. Alpha 33 taking over. Will be off the corner. And Cincinnati, not finding as much offense as they did early on in game one. Only 2 shots to their name. However, it's just the time of possession at this point. Cincinnati just hogging most of that early on in game two.
Absolutely being a ball hog right now is the entire team of Cincinnati, which in its own right is a complete strategy in this game. Once you've got the point lead, you just make sure they don't really have the ball to score, and all of a sudden, the game feels a heck of a lot easier, right? When there's nobody to get in your way, you can write your own destiny, and Cincinnati, they want to do just that. Game one, not their week. You know what? It was the first time back. Maybe they had to break that rust off, but Series 2, they're feeling really confident going into this. Not quite able to find the engineer's second goal, but it's still a strong showing nonetheless. We've entered the second half of the game, and it is still Cincinnati up 1-0. That early goal could be the only goal that wins this game.
Starting to look like it at this point. However, with Cincinnati continuously getting this offense and finding the back wall and the misses. A good stop, though, from Kansas State. Barely getting to that one. Counts all just the same. Yellow now looking for the double. Can he at least pass it mid? He can. Engineer on the challenge. Who's there first? It's Alpha 33. Unfortunately for them, though, right into the hands of Yellow. Rotations from Cincinnati, too strong for Kansas State to handle. They finally do break out, but they've got to set something up. Still not a lot of shots on the board. Time's starting to tick down.
Yeah, time is absolutely ticking down. Less than 100 seconds remain. We're already almost down to 90. Alpha 33 has ball control. It feels like a desperate Hail Mary down center field. The engineer says, get that clear out of here. Wants to keep it tied up in the center field. Instead, Red sneaks up. Kansas State. Ball control for just a moment. What can Red do with it? Falls down towards center field. There's a spike opportunity. But Yellow clears it off into the corner. Makes the difference. And as 70 seconds come by, Kansas State need anything to tie this up.
That was Kansas State's best opportunity on offense as well. You've got to play that one faster. It can be a little bit scary. You don't want to just rip the shot and shoot it wide. But I think Cincinnati was caught off guard by the 3-man passing play. And Kansas State, unfortunately, wastes the opportunity. Now the flip reset from Yellow will extend the lead to 2.
Nice.
Cincinnati marching away with game number 2.
Yellow finding both goals this game so far. So really putting it up. Wasn't able to find anything in game 1, but finds both of the ones we've seen in game 2. And it's about 22.5 seconds per goal for Kansas State. A very difficult goal to reach. It's achievable, sure, but realistically, it's not something I think we're going to be seeing today, Powder.
No, not a good opportunity here for Kansas State. They need to, if anything, get one back quickly. With a lack of shots, it's not looking good. Only 3 with 40 seconds left, and they need 2 goals. Maybe here's 1. Still put away by the defense. Off the corner, out of the midfield. Good opportunity, but Alpha 33 plays it wide. He's able to keep it in now. Orbs up, top shelf shot, put away by the defense. No rebound to be found. This clear out might just seal things as it goes right into the hands of Frick again. And Kansas State, again, that offense just struggling. They had one good opportunity similar to game 1. Fortunately for them, this time they didn't come away with it.
Not able to come away with that goal quite yet. The demolition onto Alpha 33 pretty much seals the deal for Cincinnati in game number 2. Maybe Kansas State finds something for morale. Maybe they find something to show that they can score on this team. They did it once in game 1, but unfortunately none in game 2. They're not able to find it at all. In Cincinnati, notably more dominant, more aggressive, and cleaner, I think, than they were in game number 1. Feels very strong. Feels like they are absolutely coming back with a vengeance after that first week loss.
It's funny because Kansas State, they listened to the advice that we had. We told them they had to shut down Frick, and they did. He was on the bottom of the leaderboard. Unfortunately for them, Cincinnati's just too strong of a team as Yellow leads the way now. 2 for 3 on his shots, leads the way for Cincinnati, assisted by his teammates to get this win in game 2. And that's a scary situation to be in. If you're Kansas State, you shut down the top goal scorer who had, I think, 6 shots himself in game 1. You hold him to 1 shot that he misses, and they still walk away with a shutout victory. This is where you just got to take a few seconds, scratch your heads, and figure out what you need to do to shut down the Cincinnati offense, because clearly it's the team, it's not just one player.
And earlier I discussed team dynamics, right? I talked about how it can be that striker setup, or it can be that terrifying type of team where they're great at communicating. All 3 of them are all-rounder players, and it feels like Cincinnati can be that. Like you said, Powder, they're like, okay, get rid of the good player. You do, and they're like, oh no, somebody just takes his place immediately, and it's like a Hydra, and you really cannot answer back fast enough. A 2-0 lead for Cincinnati now. They are 5 minutes shy, technically 1 goal away from finding that victory here today. A 3-0 could very much be over the horizon. Can Kansas give us kind of the Colorado College performance here? Can they clutch out game number 3? The score lines have been almost exactly the same so far. It was an 0-1 and a 1-4 for Colorado College. This time it's been a 1-4 and an 0-2. So 1 more goal has broken through against Kansas than Colorado, but the story is essentially the same. They won the next game 3-2 overtime. Can that same story happen here from Kansas? We're going to need some big changes if it is, Powder.
That's the thing, is it's going to be big changes because Kansas State, they seem to be struggling a little bit more than what Colorado was against Mizzou. They can't seem to find an offense very well. They get a couple good opportunities early on, but then from there, there's not much to be found. They really need to find a way to get an offense going and, again, shut down the Cincinnati offense. That is the main source of their woes right now, is even if they're not necessarily getting goal after goal scored on them, it's just a death by 1,000 cuts. Maybe an early goal will certainly help things, or to put away from them. Now Frick back the other way for more Cincinnati offense.
Cincinnati offense has been so terrifyingly strong, just to the very definition of the word, and it looks like it's not going to be changing quite yet. They want the ball control, they want to be dominant, and they want to scare the pants off of any opponent that comes near them. Almost a minute off the clock, and Frick with ball control for the first time flies up into the air, a dead man's land. Red takes it high, looks for the waterfall shot into goal, and not even close. Even the arc was not there as they needed it to be. Bounce off the wall, field once again, way off into the left corner. Another one. They're going to wish ended a little more in their favor. I can't say it enough.
Almost a smart play, though, too, to try to get into the corner to get a pass out. It's just speed on it too much. It gives away possession to Cincinnati. Now they're back again as Yellow keeping it close. 2 are up for Kansas State, and this isn't going to result in any offense. Luckily for them, Cincinnati gives it right to them as Red up the side wall. He's got Orbs in the middle. Fakes the touch there. Looks for a midfield pass behind Orbs. Yellow there first. Can he get around? It's going to be tough, but Yellow coming in on the dunk is an early lead again for Cincinnati.
Clean as a whistle. Yellow sneaks it in, like you said, has a dunk to boot, and Alpha just could not get it out of the way fast enough. Very strong performance from Yellow to give Cincinnati that lead they love. 3:33 on the clock. You don't see that very often, but exciting it is. Kansas State more than enough time. They have to answer back with only a single goal. They end game number 2 with a big old goose egg, but game 1, they had found a goal. They had found an opportunity to strike. If they can find a moment just like that again, I very likely see a game win on their side. Powder, they just need to break through the indomitable force known as Cincinnati Rocket League.
Especially that offense, they need to find a way around at this point because it's just too much time of possession given away to the Bearcats. Here's a chance, but it's teammates playing it away from each other, a miscommunication resulting in more Bearcat offense now. Alpha 33 popping it to the midfield. He's got Yellow chasing him from behind, Engineer from the front. Rolling around on the ceiling, it's Orbs out to midfield. Frick will be waiting for this. Yellow loses the challenge out towards the corner. Frick taking his time on it. No one up to challenge him, giving him all the time in the world still. A midfield pass. Yellow playing it high, looking for the double. Dropping it out for the Engineer. A low challenge. They lose it out, but either way, it's just more shots inside of Cincinnati.
Cincinnati needs every shot they can take, and They want to make sure they win this game. They want to guarantee it, so maybe putting a couple more points on the board would help. Orbs, by the way, tries for a shot. Yellow there to block it out. Their own shot going to be blocked by Red just moments later. The Engineer takes it high, but Red is there in the air once again. Keep this player down from that goal, that second point. Cincinnati not found quite yet.
A miscommunication here from Kansas State again on who's going for that. It gives away possession again. Can't get the reset. Good job from Alpha to recover from it. Now Red taking over on the shot, left side. Frick gets there in time. Orbs looking for the pass down. Alpha 33 taken off the field, but Cincinnati, caught awkward. Able to get the stops when necessary. Try to see this one out. Kansas State, though, not letting it happen. Starting to build up more of an offense. He just can't quite find the shot.
Can't find the shot yet. With only 90 seconds left on the clock, Kansas State has got to do something here if they want that time to strike. I'm not sure we're going to be seeing it, though, as this team, every time they find ball control, it's just ripped away from them in the very same breath. Not enough to be done yet, Powder, by this squadron to put a win on the board. Maybe a tie at the very least, but I've got a hunch Cincinnati might be looking at a 3-0.
Starting to look like it. Not many opportunities to be found for Kansas State. And they get one here. It is a good pass, but the Engineer reading the passing lane, getting it cut off. Engineer on a miss, maybe giving a chance to the side of Kansas State. Back again, open net for now. On the reset, just fakes it. 33 takes over. A low shot. Yellow easily getting to this one, looking for another clear at this point, just wasting time, knowing that, again, that time of possession for them has been favorable. And Kansas State not finding much whenever they do have the ball.
Yeah, Kansas State can't find quite what they're looking for, but maybe hurting the squadron down the line. I don't know if it's the performance they wanted, but it's the performance they unfortunately are going to have today. Aren't going to be able to win them all, and Cincinnati hasn't won any yet this season, so at least the scoreline is breaking even. 1-1 on the series if they can close out on the season, if they can close out just this final series. 15 seconds remain.
Get up to this one, he can. Gives him a little bit more life, but that shot there from Yellow
very nice.
Secure the series. 9 seconds away from Kansas State, only scoring 1 goal this entire series. I mean, there's still is technically time for them to make the comeback, but they need 2 goals in 9 seconds.
It'd be tough.
Right, 2 goals in 9 seconds, and we've seen 1 goal in nearly 15 minutes. It's not going to happen. Cincinnati starting off 1-1 on, well, both teams starting off 1-1 on the season, as Cincinnati walking away with a clean sweep here. A low-scoring affair goes in favor of the Bearcats. An excellent victory for them.
Bearcats needed that victory, Powder. We talked about it a lot. They were 0-1 on the season. Well, the story's changed. Now it's 1-1, and they've reset it. They're no longer in a negative deficit, and they're ready to take on any opponent that opposes them later down the line. A very strong performance. Kansas State, they won their first week. We're going to fall a little bit short here, but we know that team has potential. They have capabilities, and maybe this just wasn't their week. It sucks, too, because I can't think of anything where I was watching that team, and I was like, oh, that's definitely the one thing you were doing wrong, right? It just felt like a myriad of micro things. Just these micro moments that added up all made the difference. It made it really easy for Cincinnati to dissect them, find a victory, and send them packing today, unfortunately.
And I think that is the huge thing here, is because we spent so much time talking about how Cincinnati is just getting everything on offense. I'd like to point out, though, that these two teams, they are not far separated in skill. There wasn't really that much from Cincinnati that just showed, oh, this team's clearly going to wipe the floor with Kansas State. No, it was just a methodical approach from Cincinnati to hold the time of possession away from Kansas State, pepper them with shots, especially early on, and really just wear down that morale that just resulted in Kansas State not finding anything on their own offensive side, and resulted in 1 goal for Kansas State over 15 minutes of Rocket League.
Yeah, the overall score line for the entire series would be 8-1. So Cincinnati putting 8 points on the board, 1 from Kansas State. And that was, like you said, in the first game. And the rest of the series was unfortunate for them. The defense always stuck on a back foot, and the offense could never break through in those moments. But a win is a win, and a big congrats to Cincinnati for it. I know we are actively trying to get an interview with one of them. Hopefully they can chat with us, but if not, we'll never take it personally. We totally know they've got a lot going on, including this interview. We're going to be chatting with Engineer from Cincinnati. So, Engineer, can you hear us?
Absolutely. How's it going?
Hey, going good. I mean, I'm going to ask a very simple question, but I'd love to hear it. Y'all go in, you lose last week. That's got to be rough. You come in, you absolutely body this week. So you're 1-1 on the season. You've already hit the lows. You've already hit the highs. What do you think the rest of the season is looking like for the squad?
I mean, looking very promising. We upgraded our roster. Last season we had Burst, and now we picked up Yellow. Just a huge mechanical upgrade. So now that's looking really good. But last week we lost in Game 5. It was super tight all the way down to the end. So we're not slouches by any means. We're ready to push forward for the rest of the season.
And I just want to ask, what was you guys' game plan going in? Because we were talking about how you guys didn't seem far separated in skill, but you guys just seemed to pick them apart at every opportunity. And it was a very solid 3-0 sweep. So what were you guys trying to come into to try to get out a win like that?
The main thing we've been working on recently has just been spacing out better, trying to reduce as many double commits as possible. There were still a couple double commits that happened on defense, but that'll happen to every team just because you're trying to make last-second saves. But the big thing was spacing out on offense, which I think we did a really good job of. So that was critical.
Yeah, and after that game 1, we saw Frick at the top of the leaderboard in game 1, and then saw Yellow taking over. Are those two, and of course, no offense to you, of course, but are those two more the mechanical style players where you're trying to play around them or trying to set them up, or do you guys kind of see yourselves as that 3-man roster and anybody can take over at any time?
No, I'm absolutely the third man on this team. No question about that. I don't have the mechanics, but that's okay because I'm really good off the ball. Like I get bumps in demos. I'm like super solid on defense, so that's where I shine, and that's my role on the team. But yeah, they're first and second man for sure. Like they're super mechanical, Yellow especially.
Yeah, you love to hear it. Hey, engineer, just one more question for you, and we'll let you hit the road. Anybody you want to give a thank you or a shout out to just while you're here with us?
Shout out to the president of the UC Rocket League Club, Ezio. He does a great job. He and I are both graduating this semester, so be missing him in the future. But yeah, shout out to him, and just shout out the rest of the UC Club for supporting us on our run.
Love to hear it. And hey, I'm glad we get to spend the final semester with you. Hopefully it is full of wins for you, engineer. Huge congrats, man. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. See ya.
And with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and throw it to another break. We've got another series coming up. We're halfway done with the night. We've got 2 more best of 5 series coming up next. Is Lubbock Christian University versus West Virginia University. If my memory serves correctly, 2 pretty impressive teams. So we'll talk about that a little more when we get back. We'll see you soon. Now, there's some great news for you, folks. We are not done, not quite yet at NA Star League. We've got this series and another one after that, but this one is going to be fascinating for sure. Two familiar teams returning to the fray. Lubbock Christian University versus West Virginia University. And Powder, I'm stoked to see how things are going to go.
Right. I mean, these are both two solid rosters in their own right. Unfortunately for Lubbock Christian University, I think one is a little bit more solid, and that's West Virginia University. You know, one of the top teams in every league they competed in last semester, NACE and CRL. This is going to be a tough ask for them, you know, coming in especially at 0-1. Even if West Virginia hasn't gotten started yet in NACE, they've gotten started in other leagues. It's been a good start. This is going to be a tough ask for Lubbock Christian.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, as exciting as it would be to see a matchup between these schools go head-to-head and toe-to-toe, West Virginia might be one of the best collegiate rosters in the country. And I don't think that's any kind of insult to Lubbock. That's just kind of what we're seeing. And we don't even know who's coming out because this is one of those schools that has one of those larger rosters that I'm totally not punching into my own personal spreadsheet right now. So don't even worry about what I'm looking at. I do know that no matter which three players come out, Powder, they're going to be good, right? That's kind of the West Virginia shtick, is all of them are very strong. We talk about teams where, all three players are well-rounded and great. Yeah, what about a team that has 5? Yep. Then what do you do? Because that's absolutely absurd. We might find out the answer to that tonight because whoever they send out, I assume it's going to be S-tier performance.
Right. Again, tough ask for Lubbock Christian. West Virginia, you know, this is one of those where I, unfortunately, am going to predict a 3-0 just from what I've seen before. I mean, we got to see West Virginia plenty of times in the fall here at NACE, and it was typically a 3-0 most of the time. I think Kennesaw State took a pretty good fight to them later on in the season. Most of the time, West Virginia has everybody's number at the end of the day. So we'll see what Lubbock Christian can do to silence this type of team, but when you have some of the top players in North America, let alone just collegiate North America, it's going to be hard for Lubbock Christian.
Oh, speaking of it being hard for Lubbock Christian, we are starting strong with a demolition out the gate. They look for a goal, not able to line it up. It's always a little confusing to see a team who's not orange in orange, but it is West Virginia in the orange. Their school colors not rocked out in the field, but rocked in their hearts and their tags, the WVU online. Sending out Angel, Deck, and Rod, so 3 of the 5 as we expected. That's how the game works. And I mean, I said, hey, S-tier performance, right? What's more S-tier than a goal in 11 seconds?
Yeah, great start here from West Virginia, and, you know, honestly expected for them. They're going to go right back on offense. Angel, arguably the leader of this team. Another shot here from Rotten Deck, his second already. We're 21 seconds in. West Virginia, what a start.
Yeah, Deck already 2/3, 66% of the way to a hat trick. I mean, absolutely insane that it hasn't even been half a minute, and this is the 2-0 victory. Folks, we weren't trying to sugarcoat it for you. We were trying to hit you with the cold, hard facts, and I think now you were a little confused. Maybe you can see why. We were so prepared for the performances from these teams like this, and I don't think this performance is going to be changing anytime soon, Powder. This might just be the name of today's game.
And the most interesting thing about this right now is that Deck is considered to be the sub for West Virginia. They typically play with Angel, Rots, and Falls, and now Deck, the sub, leading the way for this team here in NACE. Been a great start from him. Let's see if he can keep it going defensively. Good touch towards the side to keep it away. Angel on the fake. It's wide here from Lubbock Christian. Royal up, beaten out. Now Rots in a one-on-one with Snow. Tries to go underneath him. Can do so. Wins out the challenge. Who's going to be up for West Virginia? It is Deck. Played just a bit wide. Maybe he'll be able to keep the offense on. Not for long as Lubbock Christian trying to get a counterattack going.
Lubbock Christian wants to put that counterattack online. They're feeling strong with it, but West Virginia just absolutely ready to answer anything this team wants to question. Angel gets a great lineup toward the center field. The knock-in from Deck just barely kisses the side of the goal and interrupts that third point on the board. They did everything right. They had the lineup. They had the perfection, but unfortunately, the crossbar in the universe had some different plans. That third point, 90 seconds off the clock. West Virginia still up by 2.
Up by 2, and Lubbock Christian with nothing on the board in terms of shots. More offense to be found for West Virginia. Double commit from Lubbock Christian. That's not going to help things either. Towards the midfield, they do break out. Not for long, though, as Rots on the rotation in. Gets it back. Got placed towards the midfield. Deck cutting it off. More offense to be found for the Mountaineers. Back in the midfield, Angel coming in. Shot on, put away by Snow. Rots, a fake there. Now one left back. It's Royal. He does get the stop. Doesn't mean much, though, when Angel's on the rotation in and just dribbles it off the crossbar.
No way.
Deck for the hat trick. The sub showing up here in week 2.
Hey, we've all warmed the bench at some point or another, right? And none of us wanted to stay there. I'm going to take a wild guess. That absolutely includes Deck, who has come out swinging, cleans up the missed goal, found 2 of his own in less than 30 seconds, and has a hat trick on the board before anyone else has a single point in their name powder. That is absolutely insane. This kid carrying the West Virginia roster in this moment. Half the game has already come and gone, and things looking very tough for Lubbock as they continue to try and find an answer against the behemoth known as West Virginia.
Still not a shot to be found halfway through this game. Deck there to cut this one off. Rot's up with so much time. Snow left back. He does cut it off, but he gives it to Angel. It's off the corner. He doubles it into the midfield. Royal able to at least block it off, but this offense from West Virginia is not going to slow down anytime soon. It's Rots again. Angel in the midfield. Angel turns off, which does give it away to Lubbock Christian. Only for a few seconds, though, as it's back again. Royal giving away possession, leaving Rots to give this one to Angel. Shot on and in. West Virginia by 4.
Angel, finally, someone that isn't Deck, putting a point on the board and doing it in a pretty dominant fashion, just giving West Virginia another point in the lead here. 4-0 on the clock. We're looking at 30 seconds per goal from Lubbock just to tie up the series, Powder. We would need an absolute turnaround, and unfortunately, against a team like West Virginia, I'm not sure there's many teams in NACE that could do that, let alone for Lubbock, who is just trying to find their footing in the beginning of this season.
Deck on the back pass. As Lubbock Christian really tries to do anything they can, throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, to break out of defense. They just can't do it. Maybe the first shot is a goal. It is put away. You get another opportunity as it's close down in the midfield, but Angel on the clear. It's a long way out. They finally did break the drought, at least in terms of shots. However, the scoring drought not broken yet, still scoreless, as West Virginia continues to pile on their own shots.
5th on the board could be happening just around the corner, and Shadow RL has an opportunity to strike. Snow takes it high, and unfortunately, it's just kind of a 4-man clash in the corner. Nobody knows what to do in that moment, and West Virginia reacts just a little bit faster. 70 seconds remain. Rots gets it away from goal, and Royal almost broke the curse for Lubbock. Close, just not going to cut it.
Demo still results in a clear, and no one there yet. Royal has to race in to get the stop. Gets a clear to midfield. Can he follow it up? He can, into open space. Back there in time. Shadow also there to get a shot over towards Snow, and good placement from him. He puts it left side, brings him within 3. Still technically time left if they can keep this going.
Yeah, 1 goal per about like 20-ish seconds, give or take. It's absolutely in the cards for the side of Lubbock, but I don't know if it's going to be happening with that little amount of time left. If this was the scoreline, 3 minutes left on the clock, yeah, there's no chance that there's no doubt you have the opportunity to bring it back. But with only 45 seconds remaining, I'm just not sure we're playing with the proper deck to make that happen, especially when they've got the powerhouse opponents known as West Virginia.
Ooh, top shelf, just a bit high. Deck there for the rebound again, his 4th of the day, and he is 4 for 6 on shots. The man who typically does not play in other leagues has been showing up for West Virginia, and Lubbock Christian just does not have an answer for it.
No, truly they do not. I think this is back to my classic proactive, reactive soapbox, right? Is these teams finding themselves stuck against an opponent who's just genuinely moving too quickly. Come on, so quickly I can't even make a full sentence before it's cleaned up. That is the 6th point on the board for West Virginia. Rot's first point of the matchup. Royal does it all right, but it just falls a little short. The momentum not on their side.
Everybody gets a piece of cake on the side of West Virginia. Deck, though, especially 4, maybe 5 if he can get around on this. It's at least a pass. Add his name to the scoring sheet for another assist. It is played down. The ball will be cleared out by Lubbock Christian. This game 1, something they need to forget very quickly. Short memory for them. They nearly find another one in. Good stop from Angel here. Another shot left side, just a bit off. The rebound put away by Angel. And again, just with especially unlucky plays like that, you gotta forget this game 1. If you are Lubbock Christian, they will walk away with a goal. With a second left on the clock. There is a lot to work on heading into game 2.
Yeah, and not a bad showing from Lubbock Christian. I want to throw that out there early. It's 6-2 is going to hurt. It's a 4-point differential, but hey, it's 6 on the board, and you've made it a 4-point differential. So clearly, there is the possibility of growth down the line. This game down and out, only a single second left on the clock, and we don't know how this one's going to wrap up. So that is West Virginia winning it 6-2. The pieces of the puzzle are currently in play, Powder, but I'm just not sure we're going to be seeing the turnaround fast enough, unfortunately. It's like, okay, game one is usually the game that's like a 1-0 or a 3-2 or something, and then one of the teams really learns and snowball it out and make it happen. But game one, very dominant for West Virginia. Right side, it's Rocket League. So game one does not impact game two in any physical way. It is a GG, go next, and you get to wipe the scoreboard clean and give it another try. Hopefully, they're going to be able to do that.
Right. If I'm trying to recommend what to do for Lubbock Christian here, it seems like it's just that simple. It's just you can't allow West Virginia to be on offense that much. And I know that's easier said than done. I'm sitting here, I get to watch them play and cast them play. I'm not the one who has to go against a top collegiate team in the nation and be like, oh, well, just don't let them get on offense. It's difficult.
Just don't lose.
Yeah, just don't lose. But it really is that simple right now. You have to find a way that shuts down the offense. If that's demolitions, if it's boost starvation, if it's just hogging the ball and keeping it away from them, you've got to figure it out, because, you know, they were able to find 2 goals for themselves. But when you give up 17 shots, you're going to be in a tough time trying to make a comeback.
That's a very phenomenal point, Powder. It's going to be a tough opportunity to answer back. Like you said, interrupt the defense. Maybe it goes back to the most basic things we always talk about. Physicality, getting bumps, going for a boost drought. Like, it's little, and yes, we say it all the time because it's a very common way a losing team can put themselves back on top of an equation. An equation right now is Lubbock plus Demo equal win. There's a question mark at the end, but there's only one way to find out, right? And it's to see Lubbock bring that execution to play. 11 seconds off the clock. At this point last time, it felt like there were 2 points on the board, but it's going to be that Rocket 0. Lubbock actually has seen 2 shots on goal, I believe, and none of them have fallen through, but it shows Lubbock's got an offense in their hand.
A good start from them offensively. They were able to get 1 shot. Not much pressure, but they were able to come away with a shot that didn't come for over half of game 1. So a good start from them. They just need to keep it going. Unfortunately for them, West Virginia back to their offensive ways. Quickly cleared down now from Royal, who's beaten out by Rotz. There's nothing left in the tank. It's Deck who has to take over. Snow now. Pop up, however, Angel is there in time. Royal taking his time to get to this one with plenty of boost in the tank as well. Pinch, not past Rotz just yet. Angel on a turn. Up and over him. Deck went for that one as well. This could be an opportunity for Lubbock Christian as Snow getting there for the challenge. Can't beat out Deck. However, Shadow, with time, still gives away possession. This game, too, already looking a lot better. We had, 3 goals already for West Virginia up to this point and still scoreless.
Yeah, there's a big change of play right now from the side of Lubbock. They're keeping it at a very close-knit 0-0 on the board. 90 seconds are gone. Royal almost sinks it from a Hail Mary play. Just can't find the line. But Lubbock, I believe, have more shots on goal right now than West Virginia does. So it shows they've really taken the bull by the horns. They are completely in charge of their own destiny, and they want to show that they can go toe-to-toe with the best of the best.
If you're West Virginia, you don't want to mess around with this team too long. I don't necessarily think that they are, but their offense doesn't seem as strong or as fast as it was in game 1. I don't know if that's intentional, but they don't want to mess around here because 1 goal could give Lubbock Christian huge momentum for the remainder of this game. West Virginia, though, still looking for the offensive opportunities where they can. This Deck is up to keep it going with so much time, too. It's Ratsus takes over. Can he find the double? Ooh! He kisses it into the net to give West Virginia the lead.
Yeah, very nicely done by Rotz. First point for the team on the board. Rott's second point of the entire series so far this evening. Just coming up on that halftime, that does give West Virginia the lead they need. And Connor, I think the issue you were discussing actually, happens from the side of Lubbock, right? We said if West Virginia lets Lubbock score, that could be really detrimental to their game plan, to their performance. The exact same problem, I believe, is happening here with now West Virginia's in the lead. It took that long for anybody to find something, and now is there going to be a proper response from Lubbock in time? Unfortunately, I'm just not sure.
Do have at least on the offensive side. However, not many shots are resulting from it. Deck looking for the double, pounds it just wide. Angel on an easy follow-up.
Very
makes
nice.
it a 2-0 lead for the Mountaineers.
Also, Angel's second point of the series, and like you said, a 2-0 for the Mountaineers as we enter the second half of the game. There's this thing that doesn't exist that I always like to talk about called that second half buff, right? And I wonder if we are going to be seeing that buff here from Lubbock. They've kept it close, they've kept it tight-knit, and they've been looking for an opportunity to get a point on West Virginia. Unfortunately, is it, we're looking at a 50-50. Is it a situation in which they're just taking a lead on the side of West Virginia? They've studied this team enough, they've learned, they've adapted, they're going to dominate isolate Lubbock, or can Lubbock find that second half advantage to come through and put West Virginia back into a tied game?
You know, they had a close call there, a great shot, unfortunately for them, just a bit wide. But it's more offense to be found from Lubbock. They are building that up throughout the series, and I like the sight of it. Fortunately, it's just not enough to break through West Virginia's tough defense.
Wow, double demo.
Skids across the front line with 2 off the field for Lubbock Christian. Angel faking it to Rods, top shelf, and in. Rods will stretch to 3.
Rod stretches it up to 3 and his own third point as well. So there's a fun little fact for you. 103 seconds left on the clock. Lubbock finding themselves down 3-0. It was 6-2 in the first game. This time might be a big old goose egg for Lubbock unless they can make something happen in these final 100 seconds.
Good pop up, Snow, too slow to it. However, now it is Snow trying to get it back going again. It's Royal up, trying to keep the offense on. Too far past it. Now Rots with an opportunity. He gives it to Angel in the midfield. Easy shot and in, and just like that, it's as easy as it comes for West Virginia when they make a simple mistake like that.
West Virginia has made a very small mistake, capitalizes on a very small mistake, and now Deck, who hasn't scored, I think, any points this game so far, still has the most points on the side of West Virginia. Both Angel and Rot sitting at 3, Deck sitting at 5 for the time being, or 4, excuse me, I can count, I swear. Royal gets the demolition onto West Virginia. There's a numbers advantage for a very brief instance of time, and it cannot be capitalized as they were still in that moment fighting for ball control.
Angel just chooses to bang this one down the field. Not much to be found out of it. Royal, though, losing the challenge. Rots is going to take the shot. Deck will fake this one down. Rots as well. Angel now one-on-one with Royal. Just goes aggressively towards it. Beats out 1, beats out 2, and now Rots will just take the pass from him and stretch that lead to 5.
Rots sinks it quickly. 5-0 on the board. Less than a minute on the clock. Numbers recommend, or I guess suggest, that Lubbock probably won't be scoring this game. Haven't been able to score once in 4 minutes. The pressure being built with only 60 seconds left on the clock dictates that this team may have to kiss game 2 goodbye. Perhaps, in a little bit of a worse way than they were hoping, but at least it's only game 2. It's not that series-ending game, so this one's a loss. You're not going to be able to score once per 10 seconds. I just don't think that's in the cards, but at least you've got one more shot down the line. At least you've got one more try to make this work.
Lubbock Christian, the vast majority of their shots coming in the first half of the game. They're still stuck at 3, and another shot just wide now for West Virginia. Lubbock Christian, early on, it's tough to see when early on they did shut down the West Virginia offense. Like you said, Subplants, it was that second half off for West Virginia that really led to this onslaught of offense. Lubbock Christian, unfortunately, just left on the wrong side of it. They're looking to be left out of this game scoreless unless this shot comes in. Shadow too slow to it, still gets the double. It's going to be a freebie for Snow. He will find a goal. They will not be shut out, but still, they're going to be down 2-0 and need a reverse sweep if they want to take this win.
Being down 2-0 against one of the best teams in the country is never a place you want to find yourself, Powder, but it is where Lubbock, unfortunately, finds themselves as early as week number 2 at NACE Star League. It's just how the seeding, or not even seeding, it's just how the season is the word I'm looking for. It's just how the season works. Everybody's got to go against somebody. The best teams still need opponents down to secure their spots as the best. West Virginia, a 5-1 win over Lubbock. They score, they can kind of Lions share the momentum, right? They're super excited. They know that it's doable. They've scored 2 games in a row, no shutouts on the board. One more chance at greatness, Powder, and it's up to Lubbock to try and change things. Like you said, first half felt great. Maybe they ran the sprint instead of the marathon, and they didn't slow it down fast enough. They burned out too early. They just had to flounder for the second half of that game. Hopefully, they've got some in the reserves, though, because we've got at least game number 3 left for them to fight back.
Right, and they do have a chance if they can capitalize on that momentum they're gaining early on by holding off West Virginia. They do have a shot at winning the game by, again, building up that momentum, building up that confidence. But once they allow West Virginia to slip through, West Virginia is not letting go of their own momentum. They need to find a way to keep that going and then work it in their own favor on offense, because too often in that game, they got onto offense, they got a few shots early on, and then were mainly shut out for the rest of the game.
Being shut out is never a spot you want to be in, and it's unfortunate for sure, but you've got to assume Lubbock going into this. I mean, everyone who plays Collegiate Rocket League knows of West Virginia. Like, you know what you're walking into when you go against West Virginia, so maybe there was some iota of expectation of, okay, this is a Herculean task. Truly, this is a 1 in a million chance of us taking down West Virginia in this series. But it's not about the series as a whole. It's about taking each game as it comes to you. And it's this third and possibly final game is put in the hands of Lubbock. Let's see what they can do with it.
Lubbock really needs to turn things around and quickly. Maybe they can't off the kickoff as Royal, even with Rods. Angel, though, taking over. One-on-one down the field for him. Looking around on it. Takes the challenge in order to get it to the corner. Deck taking over, back pass to Rods. Can't get out of the way. Rods, can he get the challenge? Cannot. However, Angel is here, looking to get the slight touch with nothing left in the tank. Deck coming up the field after stealing some boost. Whiffs it. Over a bump, might slow things down. Nope, not for long. It's back into the hands of Bronson in the net for West Virginia.
Slows it down, not for long and not long enough for anything other than West Virginia's goal to happen. Rotz snakes it in, finds the strike, and only 27 seconds gone, West Virginia finds themselves very comfortable for the rest of this matchup. They've taken a point lead, and every time they haven't lost it, so I'm sure they're feeling confident moving into the rest of this.
This one just wide from Lubbock Christian. A good aggressive push from Shadow. However, Snow gets bumped out of the way. He's the last one back too. Royal racing back. His deck plays it off the corner. Royal there in time, beating out Angel. However, Rotz is there to keep it going. Deck on the turn. White find the touch. Will find it now, and will find the challenge towards the other side. Something that Lubbock Christian has struggled with is when it's in that open space, is getting to it in time. It's usually West Virginia there first. And here we go again. Now they need to get to it quick as a miss comes out from the Mountaineers. Angel, though, cleaning this up along the back wall. Long clear out. Back into Rotz's hands. Back into Angels as he plays off the corner. They're out to midfield. Doesn't go far for Lubbock Christian.
Does not go far for Lubbock Christian at all. About a minute 20 off the clock. West Virginia up by 1. Not scratch that. Up by 2 as Angel finds their 4th point of the series so far. Powder, this team dominant. Right now we're seeing a whopping 13 points in total for West Virginia. This series 3 from the side of Lubbock. So this is the outcome we had anticipated. This is the team we have seen many times before do exactly this to many teams of many ranks, and they never pull a punch in a moment like this, Powder. They're not going to be doing so today. West Virginia, they're one of the best. They know it, and they're here to show it once again.
2-0 lead early on, 90 seconds in. This one already likely going in the way of a sweep, especially as Rotz fakes out one. Now one to beat, plays it low. Cleaned up by Deck. His first goal since game 1. He was the leader.
Yep.
Now he finally gets his way back onto the scoreboard, stretching the lead to 3.
Like you said, it's been a little while since we've seen the performance from Deck, but it does make an appearance in a pretty critical moment, if I do say so myself. Just wants to put the team back on top, wants to show that, it is all 3 of us. It's not just 1 or 2 of us that can break a curse or that can get through and find goals early on. Deck took a breather during game 2, returns just as strong in game 3. And speaking of 3s, there's 1 on the board for West Virginia, and there's 1 on the clock for both of these teams as we are going further into what could possibly, and at this point, likely be our final game of this series.
Just a bit high there as West Virginia just back to that offense that they're so good at. Just they're not even allowing Lubbock Christian back the other way. Nothing on the scoreboard yet in terms of shots for Lubbock Christian. 2 are up for West Virginia, but they stick through the double commit. Deck off the back wall. Shadow caught awkward. Angel just playing it slow, knowing that at this rate, they can just waste time. They're likely going to walk away with this victory. Shot coming out from Snow, immediately cut off. Rotz faking it down. Shadow can't even get there in time. It's just too slow, and it's tough to even be fast enough against a team like West Virginia.
West Virginia, they're the proactive team, no doubt, and their speed that they want to play at and they're going to make you play at is as fast as humanly possible. It's a pattern we've always seen from this team. They love to be explosive, they love to be insane with their performance, and they love to always be the overachievers when they need to be. Right now, they're doing just that. They are currently at 14 points in total this series, 3 of them coming in this game, and there's only 2 minutes left on the clock. They want to box Lubbock out as fast as possible. This is currently on track to be our fastest series of the day.
Musty over towards Rotz, can't quite connect with it. Still results in more offense for West Virginia. Lubbock Christian just struggling to get anything going. At this rate, might end this game completely shotless. We're still stuck on the Mountaineer offensive side. Back pass towards Deck, back flipping into it, beats out 2.
Ooh.
Can he get the challenge in? He can. He muscles his way through. It's a 4-goal lead for the Mountaineers.
4-goal lead for the Mountaineers is exactly where they want to be with only 90 seconds left on the clock. That is 15 seconds per goal from Lubbock. If they want to try and tie things up, it would give they'd have to completely change everything we have seen from them so far. Unfortunately, this has been a day, a series of one of the best being the best, and the break did not break them at all. Lubbock, an unfortunate matchup, will be falling 0-2 on the season unless these next 80 seconds are the craziest 80 seconds of Rocket League I've ever seen.
When we go back to the offensive side of West Virginia, that's just, looking more and more unlikely. Another goal coming out. Angel turns off of it, now goes for it. Can't quite double it in. It'll be a soft clear. Not going far, though, as Rot's taking over. Snow left alone. Nothing he can do. Royal, though, gets there in time to get the stop. Lubbock Christian, again, 2 SIGs on shots on that scoreboard. It's looking to stay that way as West Virginia just refusing anything to go past the midfield.
They were in charge, they stayed in charge, and they're going to end in charge because there's only 40 seconds left. That is 1 goal per 10 seconds, which is officially entering the realm of unlikelihood, if not the realm of impossibility against West Virginia. A strong showing from this team. This is exactly what we wanted, and unfortunately, not the day Lubbock wanted to have, but if they know they're Rocket League Collegiate, the day they probably expected to have.
Back the other way, maybe they can find, if anything, a shot. No, cleared away from the back wall. Royal can't even find the touch there. Into the corner. And this series just completely in favor of West Virginia. Wasn't really, I'll be honest, never really a doubt in our minds once everything got going. 2 quick goals in game 1. Lubbock Christian, we said it was going to be a tough ask. It really was. They end the series in game 3 completely shotless and scoreless in this game as well. Again, tough one. West Virginia, easy 3-0.
3-0 indeed, Powder. And I do want to call out the final kind of series score that we saw. While it is a 3-0, it was a total of 15 points scored by West Virginia, 6 of them from Deck being the top scorer. Lubbock Christian University, only 3 points, unfortunately, today. Highest scorer being Snow with 2. So there were signs of life, there were a performance, but we had our expectations. We know these teams, it's our job to talk about them in West Virginia. They're a team we talk about a lot, and I think all of you just got to learn why. An incredible performance as we expected, and hopefully we'll get the chance to interview one of them in a few minutes, but if not, I understand. Even if we have to skip the interview, Powder, we do know we've got one more series here tonight. Lackawanna College, if I'm not mistaken, made it very far last year. I might be wrong on that, but I'm not super sure. Versus James Madison, who, as I mentioned way at the beginning of the broadcast, probably the team we saw the most last year. So familiar faces, no doubt about it. I'm super excited about that series. Before we kind of close out this one, Powder, though, from Lubbock, is there anything specific, any kind of tips or tricks or advice you could tell them? Maybe it won't work against West Virginia, but against other teams, maybe blank will help.
It's tough to say because when you're going against it's such a different feel to go against a team like West Virginia versus a team who's even closer to your caliber, but is not a CRL team. There's just such a gap in teams like that it's tough to really compare. But if anything for them, I'd say just find a way onto offense more often. If that's a pass to one another, if it's a solo play down the field, they just really were struggling to get clears. And any clears that they did find, the rotations were too clean from West Virginia to give up at defense. So for them, just not much to be found. They got to find better clears out the other way.
Yeah, and speaking of these teams and this performance, we're going to jump over to an interview from West Virginia. I'm very excited to see who we get the chance to speak with. And all 3 of them did great. So we've got plenty of questions for our friend Angel joining us from West Virginia University. First victory this season, 0-0 going in. So Angel, y'all are good. We know that. I'm sure you know that. But coming in from the break, y'all come in 15 points on the board in a 3-game series. Is this just what we're going to be expecting from you guys? Has nothing changed? Is West Virginia going to dominate the way they always do?
Of course, 100%. It's going to be 15-0 every single game throughout the season. Yep.
I believe it. Coming into this, I don't know if you guys have played other leagues first or other series first, but was there any concern really of rust? Were you guys a little nervous going into this? Has it been a while since you played in a competitive setting as a group, or were y'all completely ready going into this?
No, we were ready. We had 2 CRL matches last week. We played Fisher last week, so we are good to go. This week was a little bit rusty coming in. We didn't play over the weekend, but no, we've been warmed up and we're ready to go today.
And my first question, I gotta ask, seeing the roster come in, you see the typical CRL roster. So when we saw Deck come in, we were a little bit surprised, and all of a sudden he pops off and he leads the scoreboard in 2 of the 3 games. Is he kind of that go-to guy for you if you don't necessarily have a third out? Is he kind of a solid option to come in here and ace?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's great on offense, and if I'm not scoring the goals, he is. Rots is somebody's picking up the pieces, but he's always there on offense for us, creating chances himself. He's amazing both ways.
And then final question for me, you guys had a tough end to the season in fall for Nace. It was a Game 7 loss to Keanu, finishing top 8. Are you guys looking to improve upon that this season? What do you guys think you got? What is the end goal? Obviously, it's the championship, but how far do you guys think you can truly make it this season?
We can go all the way. I think we just let our focus slip last time, especially Game 7. I think West Coast server messed us up a little bit. I'm not going to make any excuses or anything. They were playing better. They won. But I think this season we're going to change that and turn her back around.
Yeah, love to hear it. And I know it's completely possible. Y'all are fantastic. Just one question for you, Angel. We'll let you hit the road. Anybody you want to give a thank you or a shout out to just while you're here with us?
Just WVU. Great school, great program we have here. Just want to say thank you to them as always.
Love it. Love to hear it. Hey, big congrats, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a break before jumping into that 4th series. Lackawanna versus James Madison coming up in just a few. 3 series down, just 1 left to go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to NACE Star League Rocket League. This is going to be a fun one. Lackawanna College versus James Madison University. Powder, you brought up something great in the green room, man. Neither of these teams have tasted a loss yet this season.
Not only have they not tasted a loss, both 1-0 on the season, both of them swept their opponents last week as well. So, hot start from both of these teams, but one of them's going to have to drop a game eventually today. I'm just excited to see how long it's going to take before one of these teams loses the series.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, somebody's got to crumble one way or another, right? In Lackawanna, I'm already seeing a couple familiar names on there. Ayoka is back, Foshizzle is back, and now we've got Zach on the roster as well. And then looking over at James Madison, Skell, Ability, and Gad, they haven't changed a darn tootin' thing, Powder.
Yeah, same roster coming in for James Madison. I'm excited to see that, basically, like that team chemistry come in without a change. Lackawanna, if they've got a new player, you got to assume it's an improvement for them. So that's something to watch out if you're James Madison. You sometimes get that first little bit of a peak when you get a new player in the roster. You're feeling good. You got that honeymoon phase going on. So both of these teams have something to work towards in this series that's going to help them try to get a victory.
Yeah, this is going to be really fascinating because they both have strategies that work, right? They both have playstyles that work. And I cannot remember exactly the playstyles they brought out, as they can be so different and they can change on a dime in a game as fast as Rocket League. But I just remember thinking and looking at these teams, James Madison in particular, I remember always being so impressed with what they were able to do with so little. They're the type of team to always strike back when their back is against the wall.
Back against the wall early on, as it is Lackawanna on offense early. JK Foshizzle, a pop towards Ayoka. Gets it off the corner. Ability at the touch he wants. Gad clean things up. Back in the midfield. Skell really caught awkward. Zach's going to take advantage of that. His first appearance on stream, and he gets a goal.
Yeah, first point on the board, and it's coming out from Zach from Lackawanna College. A very strong showing. That's the way to do it. And I feel like we haven't seen many games today, Powder. Only one that I can recall, and it was the 3-2 win in our first series of the day. But it seems like the team that has found the first point today has followed through on that. That has been a pretty large pattern, and I don't know if we're going to be seeing that change. Gotta find out. It's only the first game. Lackawanna, 1 point on the board. Looking to double it now. Ayoka goes high, but Ability knocks it out of the way. Keeps us at that 1-0 scoreline. 40 seconds gone.
Still trying to find the offense is James Madison. Haven't been able to get back the other way yet as Zach challenged to keep it going. Ability finally breaks out towards the other way. Looking for a pass in the midfield. Powerful out. We've got a rule 1 in the corner. So a little bit of 2 on 2 here for a few moments. Zach playing this one towards the corner. Will follow it up himself. JK Foshizzle holding back a little bit. Now Skell out of position. Zach, the left side shot. Actually, the bump comes in. Push the shot off, and they are still going at it. We're going to play 2v2 here for a while. This shot just a bit wide. JK Foshizzle able to play it away. Zach, the shot just wide again. These teams taking their time with this. JK Foshizzle put away by Ability. Zach will clean it up, though. They stick through the whole time. Lackawanna College clearly the better at 2v2.
A Rule 1, absolutely my favorite thing that can possibly happen in Rocket League. Makes me giggle every single time I see it, and I love that it can be respected like that. One of my favorite things that can happen in a competitive Rocket League match. Zach, 2 points on the board. Everybody else sitting at a big old 0 right now, so somebody wants to shake things up. Is it going to be Lackawanna, or is it Gad sneaking through from James Madison? It's just into a 1v1 with Foshizzle in the corner. A Hail Mary pass down towards an open goal. Skell has to play defense. Zach there to catch it into the corner. Nobody has walked away with that win quite yet, and with 3 minutes still remaining on the clock, I'm not comfortable saying this is anybody's game, but James Madison, they've got to show me they can put something on the board.
Still scoreless for them as well. Close shot immediately stopped by James Madison. They're able to break back the other way, and now it's just about building up the shots. JK Foshizzle playing this one close, but playing it out still. Ayoka taking over, a flick over 1. Skell quickly. JK Foshizzle the challenge down. Ayoka there, able to keep it in a little bit longer. Ability down towards the ground. Loses the challenge, though, towards Zach. It's down towards the side again. Skell losing control, gives it away. JK Foshizzle can't quite get the bump. It's going to be a long clear out for Ability.
Long clear into an open field. Zach catches it towards the Lackawanna goal. A great pinch off the corner, but I think the follow-up is going to be a little bit lackluster, especially when Ayoka can get into the right place. We've entered the second half of the game, and if that mythical second half buff wants to happen, Powder, it's got to be right here, right now, my man, or things are going to be looking a little rough for James Madison going into the later era of this series. It's not over yet, though.
Definitely not. The first shot comes out, barely put away, and the demolition from James Madison allowed that shot to happen. Maybe they can find more of those to open up more space. Until then, though, Lackawanna College doing a great job on the back wall, sealing these opportunities away. However, James Madison not giving up yet. Ability. Ooh, he actually fakes it, and Gad gets credit for the goal as it just rolls on in.
Yeah, sure, for sure. Gad totally meant to do that too, I think. Definitely. Bounces it off the wall into the corner, but Shizzle can't catch it off the corner in time, and Gad gets a freebie. I mean, also, that's absolutely a freebie. 109 seconds left on the clock. James Madison, they've cut the lead in half, and all of a sudden, possibility is at hand. This team, I'm sure, feeling notably more comfortable with the performance now that they've got half of the lead they need to turn things around.
Aoka, though, trying to keep things going again, is beaten out. No one home. 2 racing back for Lackawanna. 2 go. The stop comes in, but it's a desperation clear. JK Fashizzle now. He is able to get it out, but not for long, and Skell goes underneath too, and immediately ties it up.
We are tied up 2-2-2, 84 seconds on the clock. This is incredible. Zach scores twice for the team. It's an early lead for Lackawanna, but now both Skell and Gad have been able to find opportunities to equalize even just a little bit in Powder, as there's only 80 seconds remaining in this matchup. You've got to wonder what the outcome is going to be. We could go all the way to an overtime, but James Madison feels like maybe they just needed a little bit of time to warm up. This is still game number 1 after all, and they're ready to call it theirs.
Ability looking for Gad on this. He plays it up. Aoka there first, though, into space as well. Loses out the challenge. Gad on a quick turn. Beats him out. Now Zach left alone. Plays it to the back wall. Zach on a miss, too. Lackawanna's defense starting to fall apart a little bit. They are getting the stops. However, 2 unanswered have been scored from James Madison. Quickly back to it, and Aoka on a pinch. Fires it in. Gets the lead back for Lackawanna.
Yeah, Aoka, good morning, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Puts their first point on the board with great help of Zach in center field. The goal of James Madison wide open. There are very few times, in my opinion, in this game where you can leave your goal wide open, and I don't think we've really seen any excuses for him unless there's 3 Rule 1s happening in simultaneous, and I have unfortunately never been able to cast a game quite like that. Skell gets the shot onto Zach, who's able to block it out. 37 seconds. Lackawanna getting ready to pinch away this win with only a single point lead.
That's got to hurt back there for your James Madison. You had a double commit come out from Lackawanna. They weren't able to take advantage of it. There is still time to get it back, but starting to run out of time, and they're not on offense. Skell can break out. Is Gad quick enough to it? At least a neutral challenge. Ability into the midfield. Skell there first, following up his own touch. It's just a bit wide. The rebound comes in from Ability, and he ties it up with 10 seconds left.
That is a team hat trick, if that's what we choose to call it, for the side of James Madison. Now all 3 members have scored a single point. Lackawanna, JK Shizzle still waiting to score their own, but they certainly don't mind, as the team has kept it close-knit, has kept it tied up, and now with only 10 seconds left, Powder, overtime, I mean, it's almost a shoo-in, right? There are very few ways this ends where an overtime is not involved. It would be pretty darn cool to see one of them, so fingers crossed that maybe, just maybe, we will get that overtime buzzer beater. But no, it's a good old-fashioned overtime for game number 1. And this tells us one thing, Powder. This could be a very long series, and this is how every game is going to go. JK looks for his first goal, can't line it up. Gad has the block. Ball into no man's land. James Madison has it for just a moment before Aoka steals it away once again. Clean setup into center field. JK doesn't have the boost he needs, but the follow-up from Zach, it's an easy one. 16-second overtime comes and goes, and that is Lackawanna with that first game win.
Yeah, that is just not the clear that he wants. I think he's trying to get it more forward, but it goes directly lateral of him, straight into the hands of Lackawanna. They immediately take advantage of that to get the goal in and get the overtime victory. However, if you're James Madison, you've got to look at that game more like you went the first half of it completely shotless.
Yes.
And you walked into a 3-3 overtime. That is huge, especially considering one of those goals was in a 2v2. There was a Rule 1 going on. So if you're looking at 3v3, it was really even. They played a great game. Unfortunately for them, they just got going too late, and I think that's where the struggle lies. If they can get going early on and not halfway through, I think they have a very easy shot of getting a victory here.
Without a doubt. The team seems like they just needed a little bit of time to warm up. It was only game number 1. Like you said, they kept it insanely close considering the entire first half was silent from them. They capitalized in the second half. They truly do get that second half buff, but that is not something you can be relying on. You need to make it work in the first half. You need to put a point down or at least keep everybody at 0 to find success with that play style. Close not going to cut it as the game dictates somebody has to be the winner. In Lackawanna, a well-fought victory, a very clean overtime goal to secure that victory, and now they are 33% done with their goal here today, Powder. Can they clutch it out 2 more times in a row and give us a surprising 3-0, or can James Madison answer back like we truly expect them to?
Right, and I think James Madison's going to respond back, and to be honest, I feel like they will respond back in this game and bring it to a 1-1. I think see, so. And at the very end of the day, I don't see Lackawanna walking away from this with a clean sweep. I think James Madison's at least going to get 1, maybe 2 to get it to a game 5. But with the way that they played, especially in that back half, it really gives me hope and gives me faith that James Madison is going to be able to make a comeback in this game if they can let that overtime get out of their minds.
Get the overtime off your mind, and if Lackawanna does win any variety of a 3-0 every single game, you better bet is going to be that 4-3 overtime win that we've seen once of already. 20 seconds off the clock and no early goals, but we haven't really seen any particularly early goals from either side. Everybody has had to work for what they want to find. We've got to see if either team clutch that out in this moment, Powder.
Aoka up, looking to drop this down. What a pass. This
Incredible.
is an incredibly communicated team play from Lackawanna to get the lead.
Yeah, that is Zach's 4th goal with insane help from Aoka, but it is done. The drop down is there. Nobody blocking out that angle, and that makes all the difference at the end of that day. Lackawanna up 1-0, not even a minute off the clock quite yet.
Tough there from James Madison to go down early on like that, but you got to turn things around quickly. You know you did it in game 1. It's just about fighting back here early in game 2. Yeah, round 1, you beat the second. You can. Now Zach left alone for just a second. Ability forced to play it into the corner. AK for Shizzle on it. Loses control of it though, allowing Gad to come in. Loses the challenge. This one bouncing favorably for Zach. Rolling straight down. Ability there on the back wall. Get the clear to midfield. Open net though, and the rebound from Aoka straight in. Lackawanna quick to a lead.
Not Ackawanna, that's 2 things. Aoka and Lackawanna looking very strong. Aoka finds it, open goal. Nobody's home. The house was evicted ages ago, apparently, and Lackawanna finds themselves a 2-0 lead, a minute off the clock. James Madison got to be feeling a bit of deja vu here. They have heard this song before, Powder. They did not like the ending, and they want to try to rewrite it right here, right now.
Quickly back for Lackawanna again. Things starting to get a little bit scary. If you're James Madison, they get the stop, but they do need more offense. Push back in again by Zach. JK Fishizzle off the corner. Gad able to play it around him. Aoka coming in. Challenge across the field. Coming straight up for Zach. Down for Aoka. Playing it just wide. Who's there to follow? Pops it high. That's the best touch possible, but JK Fishizzle can't get there. He can't get the bump. Gad makes the stop. But James Madison needs to break out, and I mean they do, but this was really just to get boost. Now it's Lackawanna trying to go right back on offense again.
Lackawanna offense is where they really like to be, the type of team to set the pace and keep it just like that. Zach's 5th game, or series point, on the board. The 3rd for Lackawanna in game number 2. 3-0 on the board, 3-0 on the clock, and Lackawanna got to be feeling good at their chances. We said a 3-0 did not feel likely, but now we're seeing one in game. We're 3 minutes away from seeing a 2-0 on the series. James Madison's got to wake up, Powder. Something is not clicking for this team.
And it's funny because, we made the point, is Gad knocks it home, does bring them back within it. We mentioned in between games that James Madison could come back in this game and get a game win off the momentum from them building up from the second half of game 1. We didn't talk about the fact that Lackawanna could come out hot off the overtime victory and just take it to James Madison. That's what we've seen up to this point. But who knows? James Madison might have something in store. Ability off the crossbar and in brings him down within 1.
Brings them within one, a phenomenal shot from ability. It's so crazy how all of a sudden the game springs to life like this. For James Madison, they get walked over for 2 full minutes, and then within 10 seconds, they've separated the game by 1. I don't know what it is about this team, but they love climbing up from the bottom here, Powder. They love working from a deficit. We see that a lot on Survivor, where people love to play from the back foot. They love to be on the bottom. They can clutch out, and kind of when your back is against the wall, you perform at your best. And James Madison, they love to be the team that does that. However, I'm not sure Lackawanna's going to let it happen. They didn't let it happen once. Not sure it's going to work a second time. Or even a first time, I guess.
And 2 shots, 2 goals for James Madison, slowing down now a little bit as Lackawanna being given some opportunities. However, it's open space. Aoka barely gets over to the ball. Cleared out now. Zach trying to take over. Demolitions all across the field this time. It's opening space up for Lackawanna. Ability, successful challenge. 1-on-1. He's going to go high off the crossbar. Who's there to clean it up? It's Zach towards the left side. And back to the drawing board goes James Madison.
That one hurts, man. That one is a bummer. You hate to see it, Powder. You really, truly, absolutely do. But
no.
It is what it is, my man. You know what? They say it. It is what it is for a reason. And Aoka is the reason James Madison might lose this game. Was there for the 1v1. Made the space for Zach to get it in. And Estelle couldn't do a darn thing about it. You hate to see. Powder, that might have not gone in. Was there no interference? That might have hit the side of the goal.
And that's a 2-goal swing as well. When you're that close to getting a goal, if you're James Madison, you immediately give one up. Now you're back down by 2, back to the drawing board, even more with 90 seconds on the clock to find 2. Maybe Skell can find one here. He doesn't even go for the shot. Take it for Shizzle. Rips one downfield. Skell cannot get the read, and Gad can't get to it either. Ability caught last. Forced to give it away to Zach. Lackawanna's offense starting to build up more and more. The challenge lost out, but Aoka there to clean things up and keep it going.
And for Lackawanna, you're feeling really strong. And on the side of James Madison, it's a lot of, okay, all of a sudden we lose this one. We are 1 game away from losing everything, from losing the entire thing. 3-0. Lackawanna has been really large and in charge. They've been in the head of James Madison, but with a minute left on the clock, 1 goal per 30 seconds. This team scored twice within 10 game seconds earlier this series. That's where those 2 points have come from. I'd love to see it happen again, but I'm just not sure it's going to work with the aggression Lackawanna has brought to the table. Speaking of aggression, welcome back, Skell. Looking for demolitions everywhere they can find them. Makes it a 3v1 for about 3-ish seconds, so only 40 seconds remain on the clock for James Madison to strike, burning a lot of time to get nowhere near the goal yet.
Yeah, both demolitions just not resulting in anything other than maybe a little bit of time of possession. Nothing major in terms of shots has been coming out for James Madison, other than their 2 goals. Only 1 shot on the board. They need to get 2 quickly. It's Skell playing it to the back wall. Ability coming in. Gad coming in, playing it slow. Can he get it midfield? Ability take it off, and now Skell can't turn in time, and this clear will seal game 2. Lackawanna going up 2-0 in this series. A surprising start for them after how we saw James Madison come back, but they are on the back foot. They need to find something immediately to get themselves in this series.
And Powder, the bright side is when you're on rock bottom, the only place to go is up. And James Madison can truly call themselves on Collegiate Rocket League best of 5 rock bottom. They are down 2-0. They have lost both games by just that much. I almost don't even want to count the 4th point that was gained by Lackawanna because it was so unbelievably unfortunate. But it was a 4-3 in overtime. It was a 4-2 in regulation. There was 1 more chance. There are 5 more minutes for James Madison to change something up, or this will be a very unexpected 3-0. Yes, Lackawanna is good, but James Madison is supposed to be just as good. This was supposed to be close, but clearly Lackawanna has done something. They have changed something over the break to come through and essentially present us with a brand new level of competition that we have not seen from this team before. They are here to win.
And this, I feel, is very similar to our second match of the day, Cincinnati and Kansas State, in that both of these teams are clearly so close in skill. However, Lackawanna is just 1 step ahead of, I forgot the teams already, we're getting messed up here, James Madison. They're 1 step ahead of James Madison at all times and shutting down anything they get going. Yeah, they got 2 goals right in a row, but then here comes Lackawanna again to score another, flipping a 2-goal script at that point and really securing that game in what now might end up being a sweep if James Madison cannot find a way to turn things around.
there's the very real possibility of a sweep in the wings as James Madison. They have these weird moments where it's like, okay, we know what we're doing, we remember what's going on, and then they lose by a point, and then by 2 points. And it's like, okay, you're that close, you're 80% of the way there, but it's not about 80. It's about giving 100% of the time when you are on that field. It is 5 minutes, and you better put your heart and your soul into it to find that victory here. James Madison's been close, and they don't want to be close any longer, Powder. I know this team is capable of a victory, and they're looking for one like they're looking for their next breath.
James Madison too many times have just been giving away possession on clears. They did it once in the previous game to immediately lead to a goal against them. They do it now here to set up an offense that leads to a goal against them. JK Fashizzle not going to give this one away. Really want to lead for Lackawanna.
JK Fashizzle's first point of the series, actually the last player to get a point, and I believe the first series today where we actually see all 6 score. That's pretty exciting as well. So JK Fashizzle is going to put Lackawanna in the lead in game number 3, as if they needed any help before JK put that point on the board. Things are strong, were strong, and look like they're going to continue to be strong for Lackawanna. 30 seconds gone, 1 point already on the board, and they're hunting for another. Let's see if they're able to find it. JK, a great disruption there of that 1v1 center field. But it's not enough to find a goal. Stolen away, ball control, James Madison. Oh, a great block from Gad there. Keeps that free goal out of sight.
Gad gives it too far away. JK Fashizzle had a miss that gave space to James Madison, but a bit too eager from Gad results in Lackawanna being back on offense again. Just a desperation clear this time, forced to give it away to Zach. Forward again, can't get it over JK Fashizzle. Zach there to rebound. No one home, Ayoka.
Oh!
It's a challenge up and a demolition to keep offense going. Not for long, shot from Gad, just a bit high. Ayoka for the long clear.
Yeah, ability gives their life for the goal there, and it works out well. The respawn came through already. It blocks the goal. It keeps it at a 1-0. The 2-0, excuse me, nowhere in sight, at least not yet. 90 seconds have come and gone, if you can believe it, folks. This has been a crazy one, and it feels like it's been an incredibly quick matchup so far. The lineup here is Lackawanna, 2-0 on the series, 1-0 on the game, and currently looking for just one more point to really feel comfortable at their chances of a 3-0 tonight.
Getting it past the defense, opening up more space for them. The scale can't get this one. It'll roll down. The challenge from Ayoka, keeping it close. A little bit too powerful of a pinch. Actually comes out perfectly as now Ayoka able to get the read on it. Skell can't get the read. Gad giving away possession again, something that's cost them dearly. A long clear out. Now it's Zach just giving away possession himself. Fortunate for them, though, not much to be found on offense just yet for James Madison. Still just one shot on the board.
They've been so close so many times, and close is only going to count in horseshoes and hand grenades. James Madison praying they had either, but it's not about close right now. It's about raw, pure precision and performance in this game. Lackawanna doing it all right so far. They've got a point on the board, and while their cleanup here hasn't been great, we're not seeing any 4-anythings on the board. They're making sure James Madison can't score, and that's what's important in their current position is if we can't score, neither can you, because we're already up by 1. We do not need that next point to score. We're feeling comfortable with what we've brought to the table. Unfortunately, James Madison has not been able to say the same.
Good demolition to prevent a rebound coming in immediately for Lackawanna. Keeps them held at just 1 goal. Now ability, it's go over towards Gad, but ability goes for it again and not well communicated enough from James Madison. Results in them still being scoreless. They do have time, but it's ticking down more and more if they want to avoid this sweep.
100 seconds are left on the clock for this performance, and James Madison, they need to use every single one of them just to look for a very mild opportunity to strike, just to find that small opening, that crack in the build they've been looking for, but instead, there's not going to be a crack, there's going to be a crumble, and it's on the side of James Madison University. 90 seconds, 1 goal per 45 is what they need. They've been able to score every single game so far in the second half, every single time. Powder, that needs to happen here, and it needs to happen not once, but twice, just to keep themselves alive.
Gad on his clear, giving away possession again, not going to help them out. Ability with an opportunity, he misses. Skell, keep it alive. Ability doing what he can. Can't do much with it, though. Down over towards JK for Shizzle. Good placement. He does play it wide, though. Skell is a long clear out. He had to follow a fake right into the hands of JK for Shizzle. Just 60 seconds left on the clock. Things are not looking good for James Madison.
No.
Not many shots on the board, and they still need 2 to tie this up.
and 2 to tie it up, down to 30 seconds per goal, even less than that at this point as it continues to flounder underneath them. 47 seconds remaining. James Madison not able to find anything, been keeping it close the entire time, but it's not about close, it's about completion, in Lackawanna looking to complete a 3-0 right now.
Yeah, will do what he can to keep it in, but can't do anything with it. Down in front and dangerous, taken off the field, but not before he gets it across. Ripped shot from JK Fashizzle will seal things in this series. Unless James Madison has a miracle up their sleeve, we're looking at a Lackawanna sweep, which, Semblance, I don't think either you or I were expecting at all.
Absolutely not. I mean, Lackawanna, they're a good team, yes, but I cannot stress enough how good James Madison is also supposed to be. Lackawanna, they are not going to lack a winner here tonight, walking away with a 3-0 victory. Unless we get 1 goal per, like, 5 point something second, I don't even know at this point. It is nearly impossible for James Madison to turn this one around. Lackawanna, maybe they're as surprised as we are. Maybe they completely expected this outcome. We're going to find out in the interview after. I'm super excited to hear from them because they've always been one of those kind of bottom upper tier teams, right? Like they're always in the upper echelon. There's always been teams to kick them around a little bit when it came down to the brass tacks. Right now, that's a team that could go up against the best of the best here at NACE, and I just am fascinated, flabbergasted, and amazed at Lackawanna's performance tonight. I cannot wait to find out what it was that gave them such a dominant victory tonight. Powder, looking at James Madison, man, what do we want to see different? Because that was a tough one.
It's kind of the common theme throughout the night of these clears that are just not resulting in offense for the team that's stuck on defense. Is seeing a lot of the time that James Madison was more desperate to break out rather than looking for something methodical to break out. They need to find something more like passing, again, or solo plays. It's, again, a common theme throughout the night. It's really where a lot of these mistakes started, is multiple goals given up from a clear that just goes right into the hands of your opponent.
Yeah, it's been a very tough situation. It feels like a lot of these teams are great at one side, not so much the other, and that has been a kryptonite through and through. We had only a single game 4 back in our very first series where Mizzou was able to win 3-1 over Colorado College. There was a 3-0 in favor of Cincinnati, a 3-0 in favor of West Virginia, and now a 3-0 in favor of Lackawanna. A breathtaking performance there, Powder, just all the way, a complete masterclass performance, truly. Lackawanna came in, they're not pulling any punches, they don't care, it's the beginning of the season, they want to show us they're 1-0 already, they made it a 2-0, and I think they could go many weeks before we see anything in that loss column if they play like that.
Right, this is a team who made it pretty far into the conference championships but couldn't break their way into playoffs. But with the way they're playing now, they do have a very solid shot at cracking that top 16 if they continue playing like this. It was a fantastic showing from them, a clean sweep. We're going to get to talk to one of them now.
Yeah, we're going to get to talk to somebody in just a couple of minutes here as they're pulling the interview. I'm excited to hear from them because it could really be any of them. This wasn't one of those situations where, okay, there's just that one person who's doing super well and we can call it a day. It was the complete squadron moving through. I'm trying to pull up the numbers here. I believe it was 11 points in total for the side of Lackawanna. Zach scoring 6 of those. On the other side of James Madison, we see 5 points, both ability and GAD with 2. So not exactly the performance they want, but a performance that we got and loved from Lackawanna College. We're going to talk to somebody now and wait to hear what they have to say about their performance. We are joined by Ayoka, a real power player, was last season, is this season. There's no surprises on that. So Ayoka, going into this, man, I'm gonna hit you with a question, and I would love to hear your honest answer on this. Did you guys expect a 3-0 James Madison? Like, they're a very solid team. We expected a real back and forth battle, but y'all go out there and just body. So I mean, you really was this the speed you expected to take tonight?
Honestly, I don't know. We went in confident. I don't know if we were expecting a 3-0. Just played like our usual selves, me demoing, and just hope for the best.
And Ayoka, am I not mistaken that Zach is a new addition to the roster this semester? Is that correct, or was he playing with you guys last semester?
No, that's correct. He just joined us a few weeks ago.
He just joined. Yeah, I was gonna say, because we didn't seem to recognize him, and he seemed to be a key factor in this match. Has he made a huge difference in you guys' play at the start of this semester?
Yes, he's an absolute powerhouse. We can always count on Zach to carry us on his back. He's got his own little chant going on, the Zach carry team on back.
Nice.
And then for you guys as well, I think you had a good run in the conference championships, couldn't crack into playoffs, and I was just saying as well, I think you guys have a good shot at Is that you guys' plan, is to get even further this season, with especially now Zach on the roster as well?
Yeah, we're gonna see how far we can go. We recently got some coaching, and
Nice.
he pointed out some like critical mistakes that we were making, but he said that we can go really far up from there once we fix those mistakes. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, was there any kind of dynamic shift going in with a new teammate in Zach? You know, we hypothesize a lot behind the desk, but knowing that he's in, it's a brand new start of the split. Did you guys find any massive hurdles or road bumps, or did it kind of just smooth over quickly to let you play the way you did tonight?
Honestly, everything kind of clicked right off the bat. I'm not gonna lie.
You love to hear it.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. When we participated in the first qualifiers, that was like our first time ever playing, and we did pretty good. Honestly, it's I guess it's like a pleasure having a teammate just click so well with us. So
Yeah, absolutely. Aoka, one more question for you, and then we'll let you hit the road, my friend. Is there anybody you'd like to give a thank you or a shout out to just while you're here with us?
thank you to all the Lackawanna hype beasts in the chat, and thank you everyone for all the support. And of course, you guys did also an amazing job at casting.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend. A huge congrats. And if y'all keep playing like that, I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Alrighty, thank you.
And with that, folks, unfortunately, we are already going to call it a night. I know it feels weird. We did best of 7 so long at the end of the last season. I'm like, it was a bunch of 3-0s today, but like, it was a great day. And we're going to be back next Monday as well. So we're super excited for that. I do, of course, want to take time to give a shout out to all of our wonderful sponsors: CDW, Extra Life Duncan, Corsair, Mavix, Monster, and BetterHelp. Y'all all make this possible, and we love what we do. The players love to be here, and thank all of you for making it possible. Thank you to all 8 teams that came out tonight. It was fantastic to see all of them. A big shout out to our producer, Ferme, in the back line for making everything happen that you see on screen today. That isn't just Powder and I sitting at home in our houses. And of course, thank you, Nay Star League, for having us. Thank you all for watching. We love each and every single one of you. Check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other. We'll see you next week.
Collegiate iRacing is back. How's it going, esports fans? My name is Dividing, and I'm here to take you through the first race in the 2023 eNASCAR College iRacing Series. We've got a lot of track to cover, so let's slingshot into this. This season kicked off on the Iowa Speedway, an abrasive new addition to the eNASCAR track pool. And while Garrett Lowe of UNC Charlotte started the day in pole position, the new track was a force to be reckoned with. By the halfway mark, there were already 3 major crashes, which allowed the University of Kansas's Will Norton to weave his way to the front. But in the end, consistency was key. Saddleback College's Logan Clampett held a top 3 spot for the entirety of the race. He drove away with the win and $3,500 in scholarship prizing. Congratulations, of course, go to all of our top 10 finishers. Each of them brought home scholarship prizing as well. The next race will take place on February 21st on Dover Motor Speedway. It promises to be a great race, so be sure to tune in for more of the eNASCAR College iRacing series on the Nay Star League Twitch channel.